Hey everybody, Facebook world, what's up? Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and beyond, because I know we're also on Instagram and we are also on Periscope. So what's up to everybody watching? While we wait for our illustrious guest to join us, Miss Jennifer Love to into the studio, I'm gonna just start y'all off with some of her poetry, let y'all get an idea of who she is, why she's a clapback queen, and the fact that she's been out here for mad long, guys.
I text you
So
to come
hang
over
on, hang out, and we'll be
so
back
I can
really,
take
really
care
soon.
of you so passionately. My desire is on red, fire ignited, building, pulsating with every moment that lingers. I got your favorite red wine, red rose petals so divinely aligned on the bedroom floor. Strawberries dipped in chocolate will be your opening aphrodisiac treat just before your succulent meal of me, served hot on a platter of satin red sheets. Pleasing you is oh so sweet. Feeling your temperature rise, watching you thrust with forbidden lust on red. I could hear the sirens, see the flashing red lights in my mind as you angrily disintegrate my fire with your extinguisher. But wait, not yet. I need more. Now, my name is not Amber, but I am a fire you need to keep lit all night. So make a mark with your mixer, swirling with steamy whip appeal on red. Your body is amazing. And the ambiance of you intertwined with me under candlelight is perfection. Too bad this was just a fantasy, because you left me on red. My baby had beautiful, bright, innocent, curious eyes. He would see the differences in everyone and was eager to explore and learn more about their strengths, their skills, the world. He would see the world in fascinating colors, without corruption. But this was long before today. Today he sees black and white, and the differences in people's mishaps, weaknesses, discrimination. The sweetness that came from those eyes now display confusion, disappointment, abandonment, and responsibility of adaptation to grow way too fast. I knew this day would come from the moment of his conception, but never was it easy to approach. And now that I'm here, my heart sits in my throat as I have to find the words, emotions, to explain what he now sees through his bittersweet eyes. The older he gets, the harder it will be to swallow this pain while watching him grow into a magnificent endangered species. Wondering, will the next day grant me his smile? Or those bittersweet eyes looking back at me? My heart will forever be restless walking this path with him, knowing his eyes are now forever scarred, and that his steps throughout life are jeopardized because of who he is. My baby had beautiful, bright, innocent, curious eyes. And now he's a lost young man with bittersweet eyes altering his reality of tomorrow. I find myself here again on these soaking sheets, raw, bare naked, exposed, open. With every entry, my fluid secretes, leaving behind stains. The stains of my pain, frustration, hunger, desire, confusion, happiness. My excitement to release all that is in me. I'm ready. It's been bottled up, waiting, craving to explode so I could blow your mind. Make you stop for just a moment and say, damn, that's you? Yeah, that's me. See, I'm full of surprises if you just take the time to dig underneath my layers of mystery. Dig deeper. I'm confident that I will surpass your fantasies, have you addicted, wanting more and more. Well, you have my invitation. Welcome. Because I'm eager for you to explore all of me on these soaking sheets. I need you to feel my passion deep down in your soul. I want to leave a lasting, vivid, stimulating imprint on your brain. Create a special memory that you can revisit every time you hear my name. On these soaking sheets, I have no need to refrain. No. I let loose my inhibitions because the beast inside me cannot be tamed. She's vivid, wild, and sometimes vicious, but only in a good way. Here on these soaking sheets, I love to play. Enticing. Intoxicating your mind with all I have to say. Listen, read me. As I give you the truest part of me. No filters or disguise. Just the purest love I have that beats inside of me. My heart. So, open up my book and flip through my pages and tell me, can you handle what my ink is saying here on these soaking sheets? Need more time to breathe. Ooh. Need more time to create. Need more time to figure out my life, this world. Need more time to be loved. Need more time to make love. Yeah. Need more time to travel, to cry, to eat, to sleep, to heal. I want to stop watching this phone, this clock, this watch that continuously reminds me of how much time I've wasted to the daily perils that holds me hostage from doing me. It's too much I need to do, but I just can't seem to find the time. But somehow, for you, time just doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. You have the ability to stop me from chasing time. Just live. With you, my time is never wasted. Instead, my everything is elevated. I am truly inspired. As I look back and reflect on all my wasted time, I find it in your eyes. And know it'll all be worth it if I can spend my last moment with you. Music was always my purpose to live. Hip-hop was the essence where my soul got its thrills. Rushing home every day to catch up with Uncle Ralph was the highlight of my life. Until that one day, it was love at first sight. From the pureness of his voice and the realness of his style, it wasn't hard to tell that this godson would be here for a while. After all, he was half man, half amazing. See, it was always written, but was never told until he grabbed the mic and put you in that zone. That zone. He educated you and forced you to open up your eyes to see more than what those project windows could ever provide. He was always my escape. We took many trips together, street dreaming and ruling the world. Imagine that. From the message he was spitting, he gave me power to believe the world was mine and to never become a black girl lost in this small world.
He helped me rise above ghetto imprisonment of the mind and these ugly streets in which we reside. With his one mic, he could destroy and rebuild your average lyrics into poetic beauty. Just his presence on the track inspired me to better create what was written in my book of rhymes. It was pure verbal intercourse when you heard that familiar voice. I remember like it was yesterday, traveling down memory lane. I think I'm still dreaming, thinking about the impact that he made. But not just on me. Ask around and you'll see, no matter what hood you represented, he always kept you zoned out. That New York state of mind. Ether, damn, you just had to be there. If you couldn't see before, he definitely made you look after. A mastermind, time after time, he just made you rewind to rediscover he was still matic. You can't ignore perfection when it's so strongly displayed in various ways. When it comes to catching lyrical bodies and shootouts of wordplay, he's the man. So if you dare step up, make sure you got yourself a gun.
Whenever he blessed the mic, he made me proud to represent the Q borough too.
There's always those that front, but you can hate him now or later. The fact will always remain. He's the flyest. Although I could go on, I just wanted to say thank you for everything through the years. Your existence has made an impact on my life as well as others. You say hip hop is dead, but that could never be. Because the gems you drop made history that will live forever. Some of us have angels, as I know you do, with your mom and ill will proudly shining down from heaven. The world of hip hop knows you're a true legend. I am honored to have witnessed the making of a king, and it's still not over, for you are the dragon. So, peace, God, now the shit is explained. We know life's a bitch, but in life we remain. So we'll have a Braveheart party and live till it's over. Never forget, you are appreciated. Blessings to you and yours. One love. Killer J.
That's what's up, Jennifer.
Joy, oh my God, it's been so long.
So long.
How are you?
I'm Gucci. I'm over here living my best Black life, trying not to die every day. So I feel like that's all we can do is just make art and try not to die.
It is.
How about you?
Same here. Same here. Just trying to get a grasp of everything that's been going on and stay afloat and look forward to the future and stay positive and give positive to others. It's a lot, but it's great.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Because I see you be doing a lot. You're doing a lot
Yeah.
now. Like I've always known you as a writer, but I went to your page and I'm over here trying to find a picture to use, and I'm like, I had to scroll all the way back to like when we first met, like 2014, and I was like, she does not want me to use any of these pictures. This is not who she is now. So tell because
Yeah.
I know you as a poet, and I see you've been
Mhm.
expanding yourself doing podcasts, and it looks like you're directing now too.
Yeah. Really, acting was one of my first loves. Poetry actually found me. I started out writing songs. That's what started everything. My first love is music. That's what my heart is just indebted to. Um, so poetry found me, and what I quickly learned, and it took me a while to actually claim myself as a poet. It took me a minute. Other people were calling me a poet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're like, nah,
But
B,
what
I just write.
but what I began to realize was that it was going to be the key that was going to open up all the doors that I wanted, and that's exactly what
Mhm.
happened. So from that, it just I was able to kind of explore everything I wanted to do in the acting field. And when it comes to that, when it comes to acting, I always feel like whatever you do, it's good to know both aspects of the coin. So I started to get to know what it's like to be behind the camera. So as you can see through the work that you've shown, my growth, and I do believe that I never want to be in a position where I can never get anything out that I want to do. So I learned how to edit and things like that. So some of the quality's not that great, but you know what
But
I'm
it's a
saying? It was like,
process.
no, I want to learn what to
Like,
do so I can get this stuff out.
yeah, and
So yeah,
I see that. Like it's a process. You know what I'm saying?
it
Like
is.
it like the fact that your work shows the growth. Like you could see you getting better with every, what I'm saying, every time you do it, you get a little better. Like to me, that's one of
Hmm.
the that's a major part of the clapback. You know what I mean? That's a major part of clapback culture is the fact that like you're one of these people who know that you can learn anything you want to fucking learn. And
Hmm.
you're like, I want to do this thing and I'm not going to wait for someone to give me the opportunity. I'm going to create the opportunity for myself. That's an
Right.
extremely powerful thing to live in. Where did you get that from? Like, how did you develop that trait in your life?
It's always been there. I come from a family that's kind of opposite. So I just didn't want to be stuck in that box. I actually, when I look at my family, it's the example of what I don't want. So I kind of just use that as my fuel all my life. And yeah, I just once I got to the position where I was able to do, the skies was the limit, you know.
So what are you
And
working
I
on?
know yeah, you mentioned about the podcast. So I'm also a part of the production team for Courtney's Corner. It's a talk show, and we were about to start filming our third season before everything happened with the COVID. So that's kind
Mhm.
of on hold. But last year in the fall, someone came to us and they wanted us to do a podcast for the show. So that's how that started. So the Uncensored podcast is like the little brother of the talk show because talk show you got to be a little more political, things like that. But podcast
Like
we
we can
just
do anything we want right
yeah
now, and it's all right. Like anything we do is right.
yeah. So that's how that happened. And then since we were kind of on hiatus with the show, we did a COVID special for the podcast, and then after we did a two-part, and then after that, the host was like, you know what, we might as well just keep doing this. We all here in the house, just we
Yeah,
can't shoot the talk show right now, so let's just do the podcast.
facts.
So
And
yeah.
what is, do you like it more or less? Like, because I've been asking a lot, I've been talking to a lot of creatives. Um, and in this time of COVID, where like we have to kind of reconfigure how we perform or how we share our art. How is that like, has that helped? Has that like helped you change anything or, develop your own art in some way?
It actually has helped. Um, like you said, I do a lot, so it kind of made me sit down and,
Mhm.
like you said, regroup, refocus, get some rest,
Get some
and kind of
love.
see, yeah, exactly, because I was always running around doing something, and it also made me realize that I wasn't giving enough self-love to myself. So it's
Mm,
like I'm always doing for others. So it was like, no, I sat down and actually took care of me, and seeing what I needed, what I'm saying, and what I wanted to do going forward, what that looked like for me first, you know what I'm saying? So it's been interesting. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about others. And when you change, people sometimes don't respond to that very well because they're so used to one aspect of you, and it's like,
ooh, talk
you
about
know
it, girl. Talk.
there's time to grow. And it's like, if you're not doing that at the same pace, sorry.
There's no shade. There's no love loss. It's just like I just have things,
Definitely not.
and
Definitely
I'm gonna
not.
keep doing them. You know what I mean? I don't know where people got this messed up assumption that just because you want to stay where you at, and just because you like your stagnancy, I like it too. Like, nah, I'm not trying to stay the same forever. Like, who wants to struggle
No,
their whole ass life?
no, not at all.
Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to post this video as you can hear yourself. I was posting a video to Instagram. And for some reason my brain don't work real good. When I try to talk and type at the
Uh-huh.
same time, it just doesn't it doesn't work.
You start typing what you're thinking, what you're saying. Yeah. Oh man.
Bang, done. That's all the info. Like I refuse. This technology is insane. Have you found? Do you like this version of the world more?
I
It's
mean, I'm
okay.
old school, so there's a lot of things I'm used to. But because things are so fast paced and we do so much, there is a certain convenience to it. But I feel like, unfortunately, there's a lot that's lost as well.
Mm,
And so it's weird. Like it's like because I've come from that, I understand what that is. So it's kind of like, well, this is where I'm at now and this works for me. But those younger people who haven't experienced that, they're kind of stuck in this one dimension. And
mm,
yeah,
right?
so
The fuck out, buying up all the toilet paper. Yo, that's probably the wildest shit to me of this whole thing. It was like, oh, it's a
yeah.
pandemic, and motherfuckers bought all the toilet paper. Like that's where your mind goes. Take a shower. You know what I'm saying? Like I can live without toilet paper. I was like, yo, when my toilet paper run out, I'm just gonna start taking showers more frequently. Like that's just what it's gonna be. Because I
Oh
understand
my
that struggle,
gosh.
right? We use newspaper.
Yeah.
I will use newspaper sometimes if it's necessary. But usually it's like jump out and jump into the shower, right?
Yeah.
I was just talking about somebody with this, how like the pandemic made everybody black. And not to say
Mm,
that all black people struggle, but there is a certain amount of struggle in your life, in people's lives that we have to deal with more often than not, you know,
yeah.
that is associated with the black experience. Like I know how to eat for a week off of $25. Most people don't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not
Yeah.
eating ramen. I'm not eating ramen, you know what I'm saying? I'm eating
Mhm.
regular, good, healthy food. Um,
Yeah.
because I know how to survive. You know what I mean? That survival mode that is something that's in me. And I also love what you were saying about rust, because like, whew, I didn't realize how you did you notice how much you were moving when you had to stop?
It's like I did, but at the same time, because you were just stuck on this wheel, you don't really even have time to think about that. You know it because you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you really didn't have time to sit and really equate. Like, wait a minute. So I really got a chance to really reflect. It's like, oh wow, I've been doing a lot over the years. Like
Right?
okay, like because it's before it was just like you were in that grind mode. You know what you want, you know where you're going, and
Right.
you're focused. So you ain't even you're really not even thinking about what you're doing. You just know that you have to do
You're
it,
just
so you're
doing it.
doing it. But when you sit down and you really look back, it's like wow. And I got to really appreciate what I've done, where I've come from, and then got a chance to see that through other people's eyes. So it was
Mhm.
really nice.
Nice. Were you in New York this whole time? Have you been here?
Yeah.
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 Yo, I mean, like, and I'm so happy to talk to you because I haven't seen you in
I
it's
know.
forever. And the
I
last, I
know.
mean, I just remember like you were just you've always been like really fucking humble. What the fuck is this? You've always been like super humble. You know what I'm saying? You would show up, you would come to our level and be like, good fellow. Like you'd sign up and you'd be like, I'm Jennifer, hi, Ruben. Like mad,
Yeah.
and then like do this poem that just like had everybody like, damn.
Yeah.
So, have you been writing lately? Have you been writing?
Actually, no, to be honest. I write in spurts and it's like so much has been going on and I haven't really had time to really like completely get into my zone and decompress. But
Mm.
when I do, I know that there's a lot, you know, that's gonna come out. But I've just been doing so much other stuff um, artistically. So, like you said, I've been directing. Like I said, music has always been my first love, and I have such a passion for music videos. I've gotten into that. I've been doing that lately.
Yeah, because I went to
Um,
your page. So these videos that are up here, these are videos that you directed.
so the videos you showed, were my stuff. I started doing more visuals for my work, but then I've also been doing videos for other artists, like rap artists. I've been doing like music videos, and shooting them and editing them. But those are on my YouTube page. I haven't put them up on my like Instagram and stuff like that yet.
Yeah, I see one. You got P Novocaine. You got a couple of his
Yeah.
videos. So you did these videos. That's
Mhm.
we're gonna
Yeah.
watch one in a little bit. I
Okay.
gotta see your direct. What is the biggest difference? Have you like the biggest difference between creating the art and then directing the art? Like, have you noticed any like
Mm.
differences for you, at least, in the process of the creation, or like your
I
process?
think the interesting thing when I take the director's seat is because I come from the opposite side, I have a different understanding with the artist. Even when I'm shooting, I'm editing in my head as I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like what's
Yeah,
gonna work, what angles and things like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Um, and it's like you said, like it's another form of art, and I'm collaborating with this artist. That's their work, but then I'm also putting my artistic visual touch to their work.
Mm.
So it enhances it, I believe.
Do you find it like, is there anything that's just like what's the biggest challenge you find in this new role?
Who?
Let's see.
Equipment, budget, location, those sort of things. Yeah,
All
because
the
when
I
you
care
you know
about
when you're
now.
independent, yeah, you got to think about those things when you're independent and you're doing it for yourself, and you don't have this big budget where you could just get anything that you completely want. Sometimes you got to downsize and
Mm.
maybe not do what you want or do the next best thing. So that's kind of challenging, you know.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to direct, and I'm like, I'm too much of a bitch to be a director. I'm too bitchy because, like, if things are not like specific ways, because I find this in my curation too. Like, I've been trying to get an assistant to help
Mm,
me, and so I found somebody that, like, yeah, I think they're gonna work out. But then I noticed, oh, Joy, you're just so specific. Like, I'm so specific when it comes to the vision I have in my head that, like, unless I can totally try, I have to totally trust somebody else to say,
yeah.
here's a stack of paintings, fill this wall. That takes so much trust, because then I'll come back and I'll be like, nah, it's all wrong. Like this, and I'll change it and I'll end up doing the work myself. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
do you ever have those moments as a director, or like even as an artist, where it's just like the specificity of your vision
Um,
um, is something that like,
yeah, that's kind of why I do my own videos. Like I'm like the videos you showed, Nasty was the first one that I did. So I didn't edit that. That's where I learned how to edit. So that wasn't really just my aspect of it. Um Soaking sheets, I told my cameraman what I wanted. He got me and then I did everything myself. As same thing, bittersweet eyes, I did that myself. I did it. So it's like, yeah, like what you want. So, it's the best when you do it yourself, you know?
do you ever regret
Yeah,
like doing
yeah.
it all yourself, like taking on the whole load yourself?
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, because it's a great journey. For me, it's a spiritual journey as well. It's because I don't, and like you said, I'm very humble. I give everything up to my higher power. I don't take credit for anything. I'm just a vessel. So for
Ah,
me,
yes.
so for me, it's another way and another opportunity for me to grow spiritually because I co-create, with my creator, and we create this together. So each one that I do is me growing as a person and artistically and spiritually. So nah, I enjoy it. I enjoy the journey.
That's what's up. And you got to.
Yeah,
You got to. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, what are you doing? That was
exactly.
that was actually the whole thing that even prompted me to get into art in the first place. And like really, really just go in on being an artist. because I realized that like somewhere along the way I realized, oh, I'm not enjoying my life. I wasn't
Mm,
enjoying, like, I was making money.
Realize that
I was making money. I had a good job. Sometimes I even had two jobs. And
yeah,
I was making money. You know what I'm saying? I was making money. But I was miserable. I never got to spend time with my kids. I was rarely ever
yeah.
home. I spent most of my time on the train,
Mm,
or traveling. I never took a vacation. And I didn't take my first vacation until like last year. The first time I took myself on a vacation. Some
yeah,
adult by myself, no kids, no work. I'm not, because it's different when you go somewhere and you're on tour, so it feels like a vacation, but it's like
yeah.
you're still working. You're still in this mode of like, what am I gonna? You're worried about all these things,
Mm-hmm.
but to go somewhere and not have anything to do, but just chill the fuck out. That was like
Yes,
so worth it to me to be able to
it
like,
is.
and then it found like even making that decision of like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this thing I hate. I'm gonna start doing this thing that gives me life, that makes me like I'm so in love with it. And I found that like the more that I get into my art, the more I also the more I love myself. I think
Yeah,
that there's like something very equitable about that, especially as a woman artist. You know what I'm saying? Because like it lets you explore so much of yourself in all these different ways. And when you can see yourself in your art, you're like, oh shit, I it changes your own opinion about you. Like,
yeah,
man, I couldn't, and now I couldn't even think about doing anything else in my life. I could not
yeah.
imagine my life being any different than it is right now. Because this is what I've always wanted to do. I've just always wanted to make art. Let me turn this bright ass light off.
That's great.
Um, and I love it. I love that. Let me ask you, I forget, do you have children?
Yeah, I have one. I have a son.
So I want to ask about that part of your life, like that aspect of motherhood. How has that been? Just also just overall, right? This journey of being an artist, because artistry, like being dedicated to your art, is an extremely selfish decision that most women are not encouraged to do. We're always encouraged to do the other things, right? Make sure.
Yeah,
Like I remember having a lot of people look at me funny because they know that I was a mom, and they'd be like, "Where are your kids?"
yeah.
Like so worried, as if they were being neglected. And I'm like, no, they live with their dad. And I've
Right.
had women be like, "How can you let him raise your children?" I'm like, "Cause they're his kids too." I don't understand. So I want to ask, like, how has that been for you, or how has it helped or influenced? Has it influenced your art and your process? Like, how has that been a part of your life? Because you always seem to do it with such a great fusion, you know?
It's yeah. It's been a journey and a struggle. But also, rewarding. I'm the type of person too. I always look for the bright side of everything and the lesson in everything. So I don't believe anything is, you know, bad or negative.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
So yeah, but it's been cool because I actually used to take my son a lot with me when he was younger. To sometimes auditions, when I was doing plays, rehearsals. And to this day, a lot of people that I still work with will be like, "Oh, how's your son?" you know?
Oh, that's
And
dope.
yeah, for a moment he caught the bug. He actually did a music video years ago, but his heart is in basketball. So I kind of left him alone. At one point, I took him to an audition, and they were like, "Oh, we're auditioning for kids too." And I had asked him, I was like, "Are you interested?" And I seen a look at his face. He's like, "No." I was like, "You don't want to be here." He's like, "No." So
Yeah.
after that, I didn't bring him anymore with me. So his heart's with basketball. Um, for me, it's wow. Well, growing up, first of all, like I said, with just my family, I didn't have support. So to be able to recognize his dream at such a young age and be able to support him is rewarding for me because I knew what I wanted to do very young, but I just didn't know how to do it and I didn't have the support. So I was stuck, for many, many years. Um, much like you, I was in the same boat. Well, I am in the same boat. I don't know if you still are, but he lives with his father. Because when we separated, I didn't want to bring him backwards. So, and it was very important for him to have a relationship with his father. I'm one of those women, I'm sorry, but regardless of your situation, don't punish your children,
Right?
because
Don't
what
punish
you're
your
doing, what you don't understand is that however angry or whatever the situation, we're already born in a shitload of shit,
kids.
okay, as people and then as black people. So when you do that, you're creating more barriers that your child has to break
Yeah.
through, and it's not fair. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to the next generation that they're going to
Right?
bring.
Because they didn't ask to be
And
here.
it's a
They didn't
setback.
have to be
It's a
here.
major setback, and a lot of people don't understand that you're actually harming your children.
Mm-hmm.
um Even if your person is not the best person in your eyes, let your child decide that. As long as they're
Yeah.
not in danger, let your child decide that. You know what I'm saying? Don't don't put that pre assumption for
Right.
them.
Don't put
Let
your
them decide that, because at the end of the day, that's still their family regardless. That's not going to
right.
change. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And that's something I've always said. Like, me and their dad didn't work out. He's not a good man for me, but
Right.
he is a great dad. And I was blessed to have children with someone who wanted to be a father, because that want
Yes,
of, being in your child's life and being more than a paycheck, that's really important. It's
it
really,
is.
really important. And, I have multiple siblings because, child of musicians. I got siblings all across the globe. And,
Yeah.
and something I noticed, even with my some of my brothers and their baby moms, right? I'd be like, look, especially one of my sisters-in-law, she loves to do this thing where like she treats her child like, you know, the way that she and him relate or don't relate will depend on whether or not
Yeah.
he can see his kid. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I can't stand
yeah.
the fact that people don't have that discernment for our relationships, to realize like just because our relationship is over doesn't mean that your responsibility to this kid is over. You know what I mean? And there are
Right.
different things. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. You can hate me. We could not,
Mm-hmm.
but you will be responsible for this child that we created. You will be a part, you know what I'm saying? And I like on both ends, I'll give him that credit too. Even when shit was not great with us, he's never kept my kids from me. And vice
Yeah.
versa. I've never wanted, part of the reason why he got we have shared custody, but he's a custodial parent, right? And the reason I agreed to that from jump was not only because he lived 10 blocks from their school, so it was like he's just closer, but because
Yeah.
he is that person that wants to go to PTA meetings. He wants to get to know these catty bitches that are other people's parents. Like
Yeah.
he loves all the shit. He doesn't mind waking up at 6 in the morning to get them to school by 7:30. He knows that I'm a late person, so yeah, I'll pick him up.
Yeah.
You drop him off, and that's an easy compromise, right? But it's
Yep.
also just that relationship that you have with your father, especially as a black woman, the way that like I didn't have that early relationship with my dad, but as I got older, he and I now have like a mutual respect, and I would like to think a very good working relationship. Um, and having that now had made me realize, and after like when I had kids, it made me realize, especially once I had a daughter, made me realize how important it is that I do not stand in the way of either of my children, specifically my daughter having a relationship with her father, knowing what that would mean later
Yes.
on. You know what I mean? I don't care how
Yeah.
you know, it, and here we are 12, 13 years later. My kids are awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really great people. His influence and my influence can both be seen in them, in the way they make their decisions and their style and
Mm-hmm.
their imagination, so I've seen my son talk to grown men about things that and teach grown men things. So like I
Yeah.
know that was the right decision then, and
Yeah.
thankfully we've come back to a place of being friends. So because it was War of the Roses for a minute.
That's good.
you know,
I,
um,
it had never gotten to that bad, only because I'm just not about that. Like, I'm the type of person, I don't have time for that. Like, you'll be arguing with yourself because we're gonna argue. Where we going? We're not going
right.
anywhere. Nothing's
And
getting solved.
we weren't even arguing. We
I don't
were
have
just
time for
petty
that.
as fuck. We were petty, just doing petty things to each other. Like
Yeah.
petty, petty things. And it was just like, at some point, I remember being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I would talk to myself, like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you wasting
Yeah.
your energy like this?" And then
Exactly.
yeah, it was, we all had to find our own paths. But I think the art helped. I think the art is what saves me all the time. Did
Yeah.
do you do you ever see your art, how your art influences your kids, your son?
Hmm. Well, I guess back in the day, like I said, when he went ahead and had the bug for a minute and he did his video and stuff like that. I think more so than the actual art today, I think it's more so of just me as a person. I
Mm,
think that art just happens to be my vehicle, but I think it's just how I conduct myself as a person per se,
mm,
with just how I go after what I want, how you know what I'm saying, I try to bleed positivity in everything that I do. And he sees that through other people how it comes back. So I mean, and I even with him, I always get compliments on him, just how humble and just a beautiful soul that he is. I see a lot of me in him. So
mhm.
yeah, I guess, because art frees me, it still comes back to full circle with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is what do you think has changed the most about you? You know, in respect to like allowing yourself to walk this particular path.
You mean just from when, like, just when I
Just
was
from, like,
younger, or
had to make this decision, whenever you made this decision in yourself and said like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing just yet, but I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, like I said, I've always known what I wanted to do. So it was never like I woke up one day and was like, it was just figuring out how to make it happen.
mm,
And what really started that whole, I guess, eye opener, like, okay, I can do this. I was when I was working at overnights at Newsday years ago, and I had a coworker who would come to work, and he would just be all bubbly and this, that, and oh, I had to play today, or I have rehearsal, or this, that, and the third. And one day I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, you have those moments, you step outside of your body, and I was like, wait a minute, we do the same job, we hear the same hours, you know what I'm saying? And
oh, right.
I
She's
was
so much
like,
happier.
yeah, I was like, so I went to him and I said, I always wanted to get into acting. And you tell people things and they hear you, but they don't really, take you seriously. So the
Yeah.
next time that we worked, I went home and I went into my garage. I found my bag. I had a bag with all the stuff I was doing before, where I kind of lost, like, I guess, the right pathway. And not knowing anybody in the industry, I didn't give up, but I was kind of just stuck for a minute. I was like, okay, I don't know where to go from here. So I had a bag of all the things I had did at that point, my headshots, my comp cards, all these things. And I brought the bag to work, and he looked at me and he's like, "Oh wow, you were serious." I'm like, "Yeah." So
Yeah.
he actually helped me, with the small parts. He helped me get into promotions. That's what he actually did. And he was like, "Well, start off doing this, and then when you're ready, you can branch off into." So that's what I did. I started off doing like promotions. I did promotions for years, where I'm out there. I was the person giving stuff out on the street,
Hmm.
in the liquor store doing the tape testers, in the store giving food, all those sorts of things. And then I got my headshot and I went on my first audition and I never looked back.
No.
So yeah, so I mean, I've always known, it was just getting that right path. that right person to kind of just open the door for me, and then I was going.
What
So
what has been the biggest influence on you? Or just what are some things or people or places that have influenced you along your way?
well, definitely my son. Um, and like I said, just seeing family members and just people that I've known that just kind of didn't get the opportunity or just didn't follow their path that they were supposed to, and
Mm,
just seeing how it affected them and just knowing that that just wasn't what I wanted.
yeah.
So that just influenced me to just stay the course, no matter how hard it got, just stay the course, because I've had struggles, but it's never been a situation where I was in lack of something I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or anything like my needs are always met. Maybe not my wants at the time, but those were the signs to let me know you're on the right path,
Right.
to just keep going. And then just also, I guess, the influence I have placed on others that have come back to me. So it's like, wow, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're making a difference, you know? Yeah.
Um, this saltine is like the best thing on earth right now. Everything I've been hearing. Let me tell you something. I think it came from the duck. I think it's the duck that turned my fucking stomach sour today. But ever since I
Mm.
woke up this morning, I've been feeling like nauseous and like
Oh,
everything I smell makes me want to throw up. So I'm like,
yeah.
I can't be pregnant. I have an IUD. I can't be pregnant. Like, we already eliminated that. Because if I'm pregnant, yo, Marina, y'all owe me $2 million. Okay? I'm just saying. If I somehow
Yeah.
am pregnant, I'm also about to be a millionaire because I have an IUD. I'm supposed to get 4 more years out of this bitch. Okay? Like, because I'm very determined to not have no more human babies. Like, I love them. I love my children. I love children. I don't like other people's kids most of the time, though. They're usually dicks. But I do. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Your kid's a dick. I'm sorry. Not yours, Jennifer. I've never met your kid,
Oh
but
my gosh.
some people with kids are watching this. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's probably your kid. It's probably your kid. Because I used to, when you've worked as a teaching artist before, right? Have you been a teaching artist? To be a teaching artist in New York
Um,
City, these kids are trash
not
sometimes.
really. Not really like that. I mean, I've helped to influence kids, but not like where they have the title of teaching and all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but kids know when they're loved and they're respected.
mm,
And when you don't respect kids, because a lot of people think because they're kids, they're not smart or they don't know what they no, 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 no. Just talk to them, allow them to talk to you and open and feel safe to open up. And you, oh my God, the difference you can
oh,
make in that child's life. Some kids are just they're lost and they don't feel comfortable and they don't know where to go. And I mean, we've all been, we know what it is. It's like being a kid
right.
and a
We all been
teenager. It's hard as hell. And you try to deal with all these things, and then if you don't have some place to go, it just forget about it.
there.
You know what I mean? So
And I think a lot. Speaking of, um, oh wait, right. We just talked. I was gonna just ask you if you're homeschooling, if you're homeschooling as well.
he's doing every other day.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's in Long Island, so it's a little bit different
Yeah, yeah.
of the whole
And the schools are
system.
much bigger out there. They got space.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the reasons I left him out there. I was like, nope, you're staying out here. You're in a good
Yeah.
school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, I wasn't going to backtrack him. Not at all.
Hmm.
I'll do whatever sacrifices I have to do to help you out. I go out of my way, which I did. You know what I'm saying? I traveled from Queens every morning to put him on his bus. You know what I'm saying? Go pick him up, all that. So, you know what I'm saying? But it was worth it. I was like, no, I'm not going to backtrack you. You're going
Yeah.
to stay right here and
Yeah.
get what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
started homeschooling with my kids, and let me tell you, my kids are trash sometimes. But I love them. I love them. They're hilarious too.
Yeah.
I'm also just taking like a general poll to see who's losing their mind and who's not. Because I mean, sometimes, like my son did this thing. I love raspberry Danish rolls, right? The Entenmann's raspberry Danishes. So I buy
Yeah.
a Danish, and he asked for a piece. So I cut him a piece from the middle, and I'm like, I'm gonna cut you a piece from the middle because I really like the ends. This little boy ate the whole middle. Like while I was asleep, he ate the whole middle and just left me the end. And I was like, yo, I was like, what happened? He goes, well, Mama, you said you like the end. I was like, yeah, but I also like more than just the end. I like the whole thing. Yo, he's at that age where he eats everything. He literally eats everything. He'd probably eat the furniture if he could. Like he eats everything. I made 12 pieces of chicken one night. This boy ate 8. I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't even get chicken yet. Are you kidding? Yeah. Trash. Teenagers are trash.
Oh my gosh.
I don't miss
That
it
is
though.
so funny.
Teenager, because it's also like you're only trash as a teenager because you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's like how old is your son?
He's 12.
Oh, he's about to be trash too.
Yeah.
Too. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Just teach him to
Yeah.
lock the door. If he has his own bedroom, just teach him to lock the door. And if you're gonna use lotion. Don't sit there. My son has ashy ankles with a bottle of lotion by his bed. I was like, I don't know who you think is fooling with all this. Like, I know what that lotion's really for. Go in the
Oh my
bathroom
gosh.
like a regular human being. Like, he's gonna be tight with me if he ever sees this video. He's like, Ma, he's famous though. And I'm keeping him, I've been putting him in model boot camp. So when he comes to my house, he sleeps on the floor on a yoga mat and couch pillows, the same way you would in a model house. Like you gotta find your space. So I make him a little
Yeah.
bed out the yoga mat, and we work on his runway walk. Sometimes we do photo shoots. He's a snazzy little guy.
Nice.
He wants to be an actor. I don't know what to tell him. Like you got to get a better memory for that guy.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Yeah,
It's
my son
great.
has officially passed me, so he's been teasing me with that.
He's at what?
So he has officially, because like I say, he's a baller. So he's 12, but he don't look 12. So he waited, and he confirmed this until he officially passed me in height, and now he teases me about it.
Now it's my son knows better. I'd be like, don't think that because you're taller, I will not buy you. Like I tell him all the time, I'll be like, you're not built for life yet. Okay. Just remember that. Like we are not equals. Okay. Just because you're taller than me does not mean you are in any way equal to me.
Oh
I'm still
my
3 times your age, little boy. Almost. Like you gotta keep them in their place. Because they get tall and they think they know something. Like you just know what's above my head. Like that's all you know. You know nothing else. You are Jon Snow in this bitch. You know nothing. Okay, nothing.
Yes.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, what are you reading anything? Are you reading anything?
Um,
Now we're not gonna
let's
talk
see. The
about
last thing I read was, yeah, I don't know nothing about Game of Thrones. That's why I was like, just go past that. I actually had an artist that I ran into when I actually was on vacation like 2 months ago, and he has poetry books. I had been reading some of his poems, so that's been pretty cool.
Do you have a book?
Yeah,
I feel like you have a book.
I have 2 books,
2 books. Oh shit.
and yep, and I'm working on the third, which is going to coincide with the screenplay that I'm writing.
So
well.
just so I could tell people about your books, what are the name of your books?
So the first one is My Love, My Words. Well, you can see that. And the second one is Music of a Bleeding Heart.
Ooh, that sounds good. Is this all poetry or are there other types of writing in there?
Nope, it's all poetry.
Wow, and those are thick too. Those are like 50 pages.
There's 86 in this one. And the first one, I think there's 50. there's 52 pages, but a couple of them kind of overlap. So I'd say about 48ish or so. Yeah, it's
And
all
where can
poetry.
the people buy these books? Are they on Amazon or like can Google? You
They're
got
on, yeah, all bookstore sites, Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, even local like mom and pop, stores. You go online, it probably pop up too as well.
wow, but you're a busy girl. I'm dead ass. Like you
Yeah, I
make
stay busy.
I feel like I'm failing right now. Like you got two. It's taken me 5 years to write my second book, and the book that I'm publishing this week isn't even the book that I planned on writing. It's just the book I'm throwing together. I threw together during quarantine because I was like so immersed in this project. With
Yeah.
their words that like I was like, you know what? I forget who I was speaking to, and they were like, you should just make a book a hodgepodge, because that's kind of what you kind of do everything. So you should just make a little bit of everything. And I was like, word, you're right. So I made a book hodgepodge, and it's gonna be available starting this Friday online. And
Okay,
maybe
congratulations.
or something. Thank you. I'm a little nervous. It's a lot different. There's some recipes in it. There's a lot of
Nice.
photography mixed with my poetry and like some short stories that I've written, just like short essays, writing things. There's food tips,
Yeah.
how to make that food last a little bit longer, store your food properly. Um, yeah,
See,
yeah.
and that's great. You could combine all the things that you love. I don't believe in ceilings and limitations. One of the questions I absolutely hate is when people ask me, what do you really do? What do you really like? I'm an artist, period. Don't place me in a box. I don't
That's
like
my
that. You know
favorite.
what I
That's my
mean?
favorite question to answer now. When people ask me what I do, I just tell them whatever I want, and be like, "What does that mean?" It means exactly what I just said. I do whatever I want, and sometimes people pay me for it. Sometimes they don't. Like either way, I'm Gucci. Like, I'm happy. I'm really fucking happy. That's what I'm just over here making myself happy. Um,
Yes.
I have no more questions. Are you watching anything? There's a lot of great TV on these days. Are you into any shows right now?
Currently, no. The last one I really was kind of diving into was Greenleaf, and I missed the last season
Mm.
because I do so much, and it's like on my downtime, I like to just, get into my own zone. So I need to. I have a list of things, but it's like I really need to kind of discipline myself and kind of just get into it.
Yeah, no,
But I don't know. It's like just not aligned with that right now. I'm just trying to just carve this lane out and do what I need to
I
do.
just drive. Like I'm trying to enjoy this ride.
Yeah.
I don't really watch TV, but I do listen to it. I have a habit of like I'll like just let like right now I'm revisiting Girlfriends on Netflix because like when it was out, I was like I was young, like maybe 10, 11.
Yeah.
You didn't get the jokes. You didn't understand why this woman was so desperate for a man. Like I didn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
for me back then. But now I'm like, oh shit! I'm so happy this is still around. Like I'm so happy to be able to enjoy it now. I've been doing
Yeah.
that a lot lately. Like the shows that I watch are like shit that I watched in childhood, and I've been going through it with like a critical eye now, with my adult eye,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm catching up on all the jokes. I'm still.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a question: The Cosby
Okay.
Show is it canceled or not?
Is it what? What was the question?
You know how everybody like I have my theory is that Bill Cosby is trash, but the Huxtables saved a lot of lives. So I'm not throwing out the Cosby Show or A Different World out of my
Oh
cultural
no, not at
repertoire.
all.
I want to see
Not at all.
where you stand on that.
I love the Cosby Show. It's one of the few wholesome shows that we had.
Mhm.
I'm so grateful of the era that I grew up in as far as TV, music, and things like that. I honestly wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't. I dedicated music. This is dedicated to the 80s and the 90s,
Ooh, yeah.
because I really would not be this person. So not at all. I would have that in the list of shows that are must-sees for anyone, any generation,
I
whatever.
didn't
That's
feel
just, you
like
just
they
pass down.
and they love it. They're
Yeah.
in love with it. I was just like, yes,
I
yes.
think, and it's sad, but what people need to do um is you separate. It's
Right.
acting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of, even I get that flashlight, but I'm like, but it's acting. There's people, they have their lives, they're who they are, and then there's the art form. And you
Mhm.
can't take that away from the show. You cannot. You know what I'm saying? So you leave that where it is, and then you let people, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, you can't take away from the art. It's a great show.
Word, word. And I found that that show had us laughing at white people for a long ass time. Just and there's so many little nuance, like there's so many little things up there. But then it's also like, I realize that like I truly feel like right now we're a generation of Huxtables. You know what I'm saying? Like this generation is like one of the most highly educated, at least starting with I think like people right above us, right? But
Hmm.
specifically, our generation is one of the most highly educated and self-motivated, entrepreneurial, you know, um, generations to have existed on this earth. Like the collective,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? The collective intelligence of us is really a beautiful thing. And I think I think you should never throw out the baby with the bathwater. How do you feel about cancel culture in general? Personally, I'm not a fan, but
Well, I feel like our generation, we're the gap closer. And I think that's why it's so great and rewarding in a lot of ways. And then it's also very, very difficult for us because we're really trying to merge that gap. You know what I mean? Like we're the future, but we also know where we've come from and the struggles that, you know what I'm saying, we're trying to break a lot of curses, and it's very, very difficult.
ooh, talk about it.
So it's
Talk
it's a
about it.
very
Talk about it.
heavy,
Talk about
heavy,
it.
heavy weight.
You
It's
know,
a
because
heavy weight that we have right now.
and it relates right back to what we were saying about earlier, right? That the necessity of a relationship with a child's father, like a child
Yes.
having a relationship. That's like
So
that's
important.
a deep ass curse. You know what I'm saying? That's being broken with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so happy because Justin just came in. Have y'all ever met each other in real
Hey.
life?
I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure, honestly. No, I don't think so. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, good. Good
Oh,
evening, y'all.
That's
I'm
good.
kind of wrapping up with Jennifer.
No
I
problem.
get your interview too. You're welcome to stay, Jen. You ain't got to go. If you don't want to, you can't stay. But I'm just going to shift gears and talk to Miss Jesslyn because Miss Jesslyn got some splaining to do.
Oh, ooh, spicy. Spicy.
Yes. Hey, Jesslyn.
What's up? What's up?
Can we hear you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sometimes I gotta make sure, you know.
Okay.
Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for this time and come
Oh,
back
you're so
anytime.
welcome.
Jesslyn, just also because I have to use the bathroom. A quick commercial break.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to show. I'm going to show uh, two of your videos that Jen directed for P Nova Game. I'm excited because I've never seen this. I've never seen this ever work, and it's important that we do these things, that we give
um
flowers while people is alive.
I'll just forewarn you, if you click on the interview one, it's going to be longer because there's an interview beforehand. So don't click on that one, just only because of that purpose.
I see it. It's like a 15-minute video.
Okay.
I don't need
Yeah. So,
hey,
all
not
right.
but yeah, we're gonna get into this these two. I'm gonna do Some to Prove remix. Actually, I want to go in order because this is not as old as that one. This one seems to be the oldest. So I'm gonna do that one first.
just want all the youngins to know. Always believe in you. Growing up, I ain't had shit. We used to sleep and flip on dirty mattresses. 2-bedroom apartment, we was baby kids. Some nights I slept on the floor, I couldn't stand that shit. They was giving out packs, I had to grab that shit. Hit the strip, serve them hits. Couple of beers, but don't regret what I did. Cause when you from where I'm from, you had to learn how to get it. I had to learn about the grind. My daddy in the kitchen, he was smoking all the money. Remember nights I wasn't eating right. One of the main reasons why I started selling weight, I had a different type of mindset. You was chasing bitches, I was out here chasing checks. You wanna know why we different? You probably had a silver spoon, I had fists on my steps. I'ma win, wanna bet. I ain't saying I'm the best, but they ain't rapping how I'm rapping. They just rapping, man, I really think I deserve a check. They should throw in the towel. They actually gave to go viral. I don't come from the survivor. You would've never been my idol. I ain't finished. When you start to destroy, you might as well get rid of it. Yeah. I know who was there and I know who wasn't with it. Yeah. You can front for the gram and really know who went it. Sucker. It's my last shot and the clock ticking. This my last shot and the clock ticking. This my last shot and the clock ticking. This my last shot. I wanna thank the judge for my last sentence. Thank you. Cause I came home with a mean vision. Thank you. I did the time and let it do me. I did it. Now I'm back out here, doing me. My vision crazy. I see me doing songs with Weezy. I see me fucking women like Breezy. My ex just hit me like she beaming. Wifey just called like she leaving. In my hood, there's another mother grieving. My son just got shot, he the Tegan. You ever went against me, that was a bad bet. Wait, splash that. I swear New York was like bad dad. I used to run up more niggas with my dad had. Like with the weed, with the crack, with the cash at. Big pound, I ain't talking about no hashtag. Swear to y'all, I was just about to quit rap. But the shit started selling like the trash can. So I came back to throw out the garbage. I ain't finished. Not at all. When you start to destroy, you might as well get rid of it. I know who was there and I know who wasn't with it. You can front for the brand, we really know who won it. Start from them projects, always had to fight my way out just to make my way in. I'm back up being this bitch, like I'm back up being your chick. Still keep them 50s and 100s, cause somebody always need a step in. Trust, I know what you niggas not about. Still getting hit, even in the drought. I'm from a different cloth, every different connection. When they planted the wire, we had different reception with the same niggas. No misconceptions, you's a lame nigga, didn't even learn it. Yeah, I heard about it, I forget that. Just getting a feel of it. Let's take off now. Let's take off now. I know some rappers that's claiming they banging, but trust me, they really ain't on shit. When them bullets start flying and people start dying, they gon' point their finger 6'9" shit. Trust me, bro, I am not with the bullshit. Honestly, I done mentioned the wrong one. And the streets really had me a long run. R.I.P. for Freddy the Godson. They say I rap like I'm on something. They probably just mad they ain't on nothing. When they slide through, I block, then we all dumping. When we slide through, they block, then they all running. That's the difference between you and I. Since Biggie been ready to die, forever I'm rapping and why? You just be rapping on live. Don't know who told you hot. Somebody lied to you, I would demolish you. Fuck you and fight with you. I do what I would do. Credit is soluble, homies reliable. Used to be robbing suits of what was viable. Now we a delicious. We about to buy if you see what the grind do. She said she married with children, but guess what? I still got a sliding through. I do the impossible. They got us all locked down. I wonder what Pac could do. I wonder what Big could do. But enough for my points of views. I'm from where if you snooze, you lose. Corporate America, close confused. What? But they the real crooks and suits. I mean, you know they gotta get theirs too. High beams, yeah, I'm in that BM new. I like things, like what you doing, the right things. Yeah, I just switched the flow, they copy. Talk to you like the mob, capiche. Worry about what I smoke, this high quiche. Can't believe that I'm right, it's on me. Right, nothing to prove cause I'm real right. Can't do it, Mary, stay too tight. Still bag your chick on my off night. Fucker won't take off my off whites. I'm killing this beat, this shit too light. I really want this shit for the life. You only want this shit for life. We ain't the same, you ain't my type. Real recognize, girl, you don't look right. Don't say the N word if you look white. Used to get cocaine down my cell pipe. Yeah, I admit a nigga likes to tell like. Got it coming back, but she like to tell pipe.
Gen Love, it's all good, Bonnie and T. Force Bill 115. We ain't stopping, man. Deposit in us, man. Make a deposit. Hurry up and make a deposit.
It's my favorite thing.
Labels is hollering, man. Trust me on this one. You heard?
Turn me up in the headphones. If they ain't know me then, I bet they know me now. The type that stayed down when nobody round. And all it took was patience. Now a lot of niggas hating cause they know they bitches wait. And this is just my intro. Still take a chick down the size of Lizzo. Used to play music out my project window. Now I'm a few bars away from bagging Kindle. I'm getting nicer, basically, that's what I'm saying to you. Cito just came home and he ain't playing with you. Have him watch you for a week, yeah, he be laying on you. I get a green light, next thing you know, he's spraying on you. Yeah, let me tell you how I started. Selling trays, packing bags in supermarkets. Skip med day, that's why my flow retarded. You should drive past the stoop because you garbage. Oh yeah, we got it. Them labels holler. Told Scorch to pack it up, it's on and poppin'. You wasn't there when we was starving, you should stop it. It's too late to be fake, we need deposits. My niggas apron, that's how we rockin'. Girls gone wild, this shit a mosh pit. Last body that we caught, it was a mob hit. It's gonna take more than hate for y'all to stop this. For real. I ain't come this far to be playing with niggas, man. Bonnie and T, Peter Nova, flow similar. I'm back and I'm better now. People saying I'm the one, but until I get my deal, I need my gun. Baby need Pampers, BM need some ones. I'm from where you rap a ball, sell drums. This shit the slums, less fun. Round here they miss your pops, they hit your son.
All right. Yes, girl, yes. I'm gonna have to hit you up because I need some visuals over here. Like, I'm not playing. I really need some visuals. Sis got some songs coming. Y'all don't know.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I'm telling you, I've been busy. I've been in the lab cooking all these months. So I'm gonna have to hit you up. And I'm not, and you know what? I'm not even gonna do what everybody's gonna try to do and be like, yo, can you hook a sister up with a special price? No, I'm gonna pay your rate because that's what you're worth, guys. We gotta start paying each other what the fucking worth. Stop asking for discounts on shit, people. All right. You know what I'm talking about.
Please.
Like,
I'd be honored.
It's so expensive. Like, no, it's market rate. It's market price. You just think it's expensive because I'm black. Like, no.
Yeah. And I'm an artist first, so I know what it is. So it's like I'm not even trying to break you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's work. I'm all about the work.
Let's work.
All of that'll come. You know what I mean? It's about the work. So yeah.
That's what make you ClapBack queen. I love you so much.
I love you too.
You're working your time with us. I appreciate you. And you know, that's a perfect transition. Talking about work is about the work. Miss Jesselyn Blue over here is you're like the most workingest motherfucker I know. Like every time.
What? First of all, I'm sorry I'm in the shadows. I don't know what I'm doing.
I would just sit with light on your face, like sit in a way. Well, there's some light. I don't know. I got this lamp. I got a lamp. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
me too, but the bulb just blew, so it's
Oh,
oh,
literally an hour ago. But whatever, as long as you can see me, we good.
we see you. You are working like nobody's business. I was revisiting what's it called it? The Deuce, right? I was watching the Deuce because I like to watch things. I don't like to wait for episodes. I'd rather watch the whole season and be done with it. I want to hear the whole story, right? So I'm watching. And then first of all, in the same scene, I see Cherie Daniels, and then I see you. Y'all are both. Cherie is another amazing actress, woman, writer, person. And I was just like, all my friends is on HBO now. Like, niggas is out here getting like, yes.
Oh man, good times, yo.
So I
Fucking
want to know,
A.
like, how is that for you right now? How like also your pandemic art looks popping. Like you look like you have not stopped working yet, even through the pandemic. So I want to know like what you really doing these days. Like, what's that secret? How you keep working?
Girl. Oh man, I guess so the first of all, being on HBO's The Deuce was awesome. I was a core background actor. I played the role of a prostitute for 2 years for that show, the same role. I got to wear, they had outfits waiting for me, and that was pretty awesome. Going through wardrobe, getting dressed up for the times and the period, the makeup. They had to cover my tattoos. I know they hated me because of that. I'm talking hours in that chair. We still see your back. But dude, it was worth it. It was so worth it. Early mornings, long days. I made a lot of great friends, and I was really thankful for the opportunity because it was a defining time where I got to adjust to being on set, like constantly, because it was consistent work. I mean, your core, they just going to call you over and over again for that role. So I was like, wow, large set, lots to do, everything happening, and it really showed me a lot and gave me a good grasp of what's going on, all the moving pieces of set life and everyone there. And it was like a second home after a while. You got to really know everybody. You see the same faces, like a little family, cast members. And so it was fun. I got to play so many different costumes and makeup and characters, and the way they did my hair. I felt really spoiled. So that was a really awesome period that I got to do a lot of good work and work with different directors. I had a moment where I even talked to James Franco, which was really interesting. Everyone was staring at me after he spoke with me, and I was like, guys, it wasn't that deep. It really wasn't that deep. Like it was a small conversation about the scene and pouring this drink, and it was like, okay, very pleasant. And everyone was like, what did he say to you?
Just like, don't forget your lines.
Like just direction that he wanted to add me in the scene when I wasn't initially in it. Just a moment of the camera passing us both where he engaged with me, and I was like, I don't know if it made it to the editing floor. Everything does not always make it.
Right.
I'm not saying yes, I'm there. I don't know, but I know in that moment we were filming that for that purpose, and it was cool that he actually engaged with me. And he said it looked like I was having a fun time on set, and I was like, yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's amazing. So like Jennifer, you are multi-talented, and you do so much, right? Like how has this pandemic like affected that with you? Like how did you process this?
Girl,
did you process this yet?
I wish you could see me. Yeah, I'm processing. I'm processing currently, always. Fucking processing. Queen, man. We wouldn't be ClapBack kings or queens if we didn't clap back.
Right? That's the ClapBack.
I mean, like, I'm gonna play that into it. Like, we gotta clap back. Like, we're always Phoenix rising. That's what I always call myself. There's many times in my life where I've felt where I was like, I don't know how we go on from here, but we just go.
You just keep going.
We just step where we're not sure we're stepping very often. And like the phoenix, you know, we become ashes and we rise again from our own ashes into a whole new rebirth. And I felt like COVID kind of did that to me. It was really, I was like, I don't know if I can create art. I'm so like, I just feel trapped and just stuck, and everything was just disheartening. And
Right.
oh man, it was like a really low period for a while where I just didn't feel very motivated or inspired. And nothing, to be honest, nothing was even happening anyway. Like my job was closed, production was completely halted. So it wasn't like I was missing out on anything.
You're like,
So I was like,
jobs
no,
anyway. I'm gonna lay here in this bed.
I was like trying to remotivate, regenerate, reinvigorate, like just keep my creative juices going and stay positive for when work did resume and, you know, creative opportunities did come up again, and work on myself. I've been working on a poetry album, so that I was working on during quarantine. It's called Minding My Bees. And it sounds really funky and weird. Like I was playing it for someone and he's like, one track sounds like we're in the club. The next track sounds like we're at a bougie party. And I'm like, great, I'm taking you to different zones, man. I want to create environments with the sound, I'm like, I want you to feel transported with me. That's a pet project coming out from the quarantine.
That's what's up. I'm
working on my website.
I am excited for that. That sounds fucking amazing, first of all. Do you know I never got to read your book? I'm so excited. I'm going to tell you why.
It's okay. It's okay.
I got the book and it was thrown out with a lot of my stuff from the last apartment that I was illegally evicted from. And this was like 2 years ago. And so I bought your book again, right? Bought it again.
Oh.
Had it in my house. And then like my dad's house earlier this year, the ceiling fell in right before he went to the hospital. The ceiling fell in. And then from the ceiling falling in, the house became infested. So I got displaced. I couldn't live there while it was being renovated. Okay. And don't you know, they threw out all my stuff because I took too long to come and get it. I was like, look, I'm not taking infested things into my new clean house. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So, you know, fumigate, and then I'll take my stuff out and put it in storage or something. Because I was like, why am I going to take shit that's got, no. We're not potentially bringing spiders to my house. Like, no, like me and spiders don't get along.
No, like, let me do that.
And, you know, it just happened. Like, they just threw my shit out. And I was like, what the fuck? It might be in a bag because I saw a bunch of books in a bag, but I haven't gone through it yet. But I might have to buy your book a third time just so I can read it.
It's okay. I have many copies for you. Don't worry. My little baby right here. This is my little baby she's talking about.
Yes.
It's long due for another written piece for me. After the pandemic kind of, I'm not going to want to say slowed down. I would say the pandemic is the pandemic in general, but I would say things have started to reopen is a better term or phrasing. Yeah. I've been working on a lot of different projects with visuals, more say, with my acting and modeling. I have done maybe, I would say, like two poetry features, which I'm very proud of, online, virtual.
I just saw you posted about one at a festival, like a neon something.
Yeah. So in regards to written work, I need to follow up with another book. And I did do some poetry for the Neon District. I was very excited about that. It was for the Newark Arts Festival. Oh. And because of COVID, they had to do things differently. Every year, the Newark Arts Festival is one of the highlights of my year. You get to walk through downtown Newark and go to different studios that are open, just open doors for you to just travel within. And there's different programming, different creative events, music. I've always had so much fun. There's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's the night you just keep going all night. You could just have a map out and just hop from different event from that on each
Oh
street.
yeah, it's like the open studios.
Yeah, and it never ends. I'm talking sometimes they have free drinks or sometimes they have a free show, and it's just a ball. So this year they had to do it virtually. And in one of the events that was happening for the Newark Arts event was at a studio in downtown Newark, and I was asked to perform some poetry for that. And I curated some poems for it. I wrote it specifically for that event and her vision. My friend Kimberly Francis, who's also a photographer and an artist, because she was selling her beautiful Neon District products at the event. So I was really there to kind of back her up and, you know, make it kind of sexy and showcase the talent.
Have you do you miss performing?
I do. I think the virtual world is awesome, and I'm happy it's here, and it's a great platform. It's better to connect than not connect. Like, you know what I'm saying? If our options are limited, I'll take this option. But I do miss being in person, being on stage. It is a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I just started performing again. I've been really lucky to have had all this time to kind of just be quiet and settle myself in myself. Like that's what the pandemic did. It forced me to stop and settle myself in myself.
Mm.
Right. And so I've done 3 performances so far. And I really am impressed with myself these days. Like I'm finally at this place where I'm really proud of myself when I perform, where it's like I don't get off the stage anymore wondering, did I do that right or did I do good? It was just like, no, I can feel that it's good. I can see that. Like I know I just slayed some shit. And then when I watch myself, I've started like there are moments where like I'll be watching myself and I just start to cry because I'm like, damn, Joy, like look at you. Like look at you. You know, and that's a feeling that I haven't really had before now. You know, I don't know if because it means so much more. I feel like it means so much more and now everything seems so it's like I'm like you're like I'm pushing all of myself out now when I perform. Just like all that I have in me, I'm giving away. And I find that it's like it's only because I've had this time to sit by myself and like be like, yo, you know what? It probably wasn't hitting before because you wasn't as in right like as you are now. You know what I'm saying? I still had like I had to worry about my job. I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Like now it's like, no. All I really have to do is make art. Like that's it. I don't really have to do anything else. Like I don't have to do anything else. I can make art while teaching my kids. I can make art while like I can just make art. I find that to be incredibly freeing. Have you experienced something like that with your process in the pandemic?
Well, where I felt as if art liberated me, you mean? Or
Like just more liberated in your art or through it, you know what I mean? Like now do you notice a difference like when you do get to perform or like even if you do something virtually, like sharing your work, you know what I mean? Do you notice any differences with that? Let me put these pants on.
I have some pants on.
I have pants on. I have a skirt.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to take better care of my things now by not getting paint on everything. So I've started working. I've started like finishing up this painting I've been working.
Ooh, beautiful.
It's a new series I'm doing that's based on the "What Would Jesus Do" thought, but it's me asking what would all of our like any of our Black predecessors, like what would Eartha Kitt do? Right? What would James Baldwin do right now? What would Octavia Butler do right now? Right? Because they've all lived through this moment that we still seem to be stuck. It's almost like a time warp, I feel like why does outside sometimes look like 1967? You know? Why do we have a president that looks like he's about to fucking stage a coup? this nigga, like, this nigga's crazy.
Anyway, because that's gonna stress me out. I'd rather just answer your question because that shit about to make me be like, the whole reveal. I'm so angry.
That wasn't a real question. It was just like, it's just like things like that. So this series that I'm working on is all an arrangement of like what would so and so do with like a little quick sketch on the side, but like I'm painting it while I talk to you, and I didn't want to get my beautiful skirt dirty.
Respect.
I take care of my things now.
Well, let me see. To answer your question about has it changed or evolved or transitioned or liberated through the pandemic or my process, I would say that I feel more knowledgeable and confident in my art because of the pandemic, or because I went through this pandemic with my art. You know, my art is always with me. Like I'm a creator at heart. It doesn't stop. So if anything has happened with my art through the pandemic, it's definitely transitioned to where I feel more knowledgeable and creative and confident because I had that time to do more research, to understand the business side of things, to build my website, to invest in a store and invest in drop shipping and multiple products and do one of my favorite things. I can't wait. Whether it's this year or next year, I'm definitely coming out with a calendar. I've been modeling for years, and I'm going to put that together, and that's going to be also available through my website. And I've talked to a lot of other artists that, you know, taught me a lot of things.
Your website, by the way?
It's coming. I keep getting it's coming in like a week or two. So it's very soon. It's going to be my name. Very simple. JustlinBlue.com. Can't miss it. I hope not. I mean, I hope you don't miss it. Shit. But I really want to really try to take my art to another level. You know, there's one thing you're an artist, no matter what anyone says. You're going to create your art. You're going to write your poem. You're going to perform it wherever the fuck you want. That's it. But there's another thing to take it to another level that I feel that I was avoiding through ignorance. And this pandemic was like, why remain ignorant? You have tools. You have this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, with the virtual platform, I know I said it feels weird or feels different for me, and I do prefer being live. But when I did a feature for Wordplay Cafe, and I saw that it hit over, like, you know, it was like me and two other women, beautiful women, poetic women, awesome women. So it was the three of us, but the whole video got like over 1,000 views, and I was like, there's something to this. Maybe I'm reaching people in other countries that I never thought I could, or, you know. And there's one thing to, like I said, to create your art, no matter what, you're an artist, but I want to take it to that other level where I want to be, I want to say you're going to know who I am in fucking Australia. So it's like, and with this virtual platform, you can do things of that nature.
Yeah, right. You can reach those people that can't come to your shows physically, or you can get, like, one of my things. I finally started a Patreon.
I saw that. I was reading it. No, dead ass. And I was thinking of it myself, queen.
And I was just like, you know, because things take money. Like, that's really it. And you know, in doing it, I've been putting that off for a long time because I'm like, well, I mean, I got a website already. Like, why do I need a Patreon? So it's like, oh, because that will push it out to more people. Like, you have to reach people somehow. And I've been avoiding, you know, I've been one of those artists that's been trying to avoid coming to the digital landscape. Like, I really like people. And I feel like technology has kind of robbed us in some ways of like those nuances that can only happen between people, you know. And then also like this instant gratification that we have that's happening in the world, where like anything you want, you could literally get it right now, delivered to your door, right? So I don't know if this annoys you, right? But my biggest pet peeve is when people text you and then you don't text them back immediately, so they text you again and then they call you. It's like, dude, I'm busy. Just because it's a pandemic, and I don't have a 9 to. I don't have to go.
No, Queen, that's a pet peeve for me too. And the pet peeve for me also is when they text you and you don't answer the text right away. Like you said, it's like not a right away thing. And they're like, I guess a minute went by and they're like, Then Facebook messaged me. So like 2 minutes went by and it went from a text to a Facebook message. 3 minutes went by, now it's Instagram message. At this point, when I do check my phone, I don't even know which one to fucking answer. I'm like, so
I just don't. I just be like, you know what? Nah. Nah. You're not, because like I think technology has made it seem as if we should always have immediate access. Like I should always be available to you because you can always reach me. Like people don't know I'm about to switch up and go back to just having a house phone. So if I ain't home, I ain't fucking home. Like you ain't texting me. Dude, you're not. I don't.
It's okay to use the do not disturb button on your phone. I do that often when I want to focus on something. If I'm writing or working on a project, if I'm really sitting here put together anything that I feel like needs my concentration, my phone goes on do not disturb because it won't get my full concentration if my phone goes bing, 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 and I'm like, yeah. And then it's on the phone.
Yeah, man. God,
I have no problem doing that.
I hated that. That was the part of the world that I really disliked, was like going out with people or being invited out and everybody's like this the whole time.
Me too.
Like, oh, you're having so much fun on your phone. Why the fuck did you invite me out? Like, what am I here for? Like, I didn't come to watch you be on your phone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how we were functioning that way. I feel like the pandemic was a big ass timeout. Like everybody just needs to sit the fuck down and shut up for a minute. Just like take a time out. Think about what you did.
That was really sickening. It really started to feel like I don't mind you checking your phone. I feel like that would be a disservice for me to be monitoring you. Like, don't check your phone. Like, who knows? It could be important. I don't know. I don't mind. I'm gonna mind my business. But if we're together on like we're doing an outing or whatever social event, and you're just in your phone the whole time, I like it makes you feel so obsolete. Like, what's the point?
Right. What am I here? Like I said, what am I here for? You know what I mean? Like you're all in your phone the whole time, like or dinner, right? I have a rule. I've had this rule since I was married. My ex-husband and I developed it, and I just kept with it because I think connection is crucial. But anytime we sat down to eat, you would have to put your phone on the table on silent. Like. So, important calls will, you can you can look at it. You get a phone call. Yeah, take that call. But you're not going to be sitting here in my face and I'm sitting in your face. What? Man.
Yeah, no point. I do have to say though, in my business, like I gotta be to a certain extent close to my phone, even if it's on silent, just to see.
I mean, that's different. Like,
sometimes they'll call and they'll be like, "We want to cast you for something." If you don't answer, they'll cast the next person, and then you're just like, "Oh," because one time, it was like literally 10 minutes went by, y'all. 10 minutes. This was like 2 years ago. I don't know, 2 years ago, and I was at the park with my friend. I put my phone down, and I was like, "Hey, girl, take this picture of me." Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, park live," and then I come back to my phone. And I missed a text, and it was like, "Do you want to be in Jenadiah's new music video?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I want to be in Jenadiah's new music video." And then the lady was like, "Oh, I already gave this role to the other girl who answered faster." Literally, dead ass. That's what she said to me in a text message. And I was
wow.
I was like, "Whoa, man, it's real out here. It's competitive out here." I was like, "Okay, well, thank you. Please keep me in mind for further casting." I'm going to be professional.
Yeah.
But that broke my heart for a second.
Like, not your fault, lady. It's my fault. It's all my fault.
Like 10 minutes. Goddamn. So I have to keep a balance. Like, I don't like the phone controlling me. I don't want to be face front in the phone, but I do keep it close, check it. All right, that's not that deep. Whatever.
Yeah, like, that was just it to me. It was just like really like, I don't know. I feel like we just created such a disconnect with the technology that we've created. We've created a big disconnect with each other as human beings. You know what I mean? Like, people get other people fucked up because he's so busy watching their social media. You forget you know this person in real life. You know what I'm saying? You know me in real life. Like, why don't you just talk to me? Don't look at my social media and decide that that's who I am all the time. Like, that's not it. That's not it.
Social media is a lens. It's curated.
You're one who kind of balances. You manage to curate your social media in a really like very sort of defined way. I think like there's no misconstruing Jesslyn when you come to her social media. Like she's like, no, bitch, I work. Like this is I work.
Well, yeah, I definitely curate it. It's curated. That's what I'm saying. Social media is curated. It is a thought process behind it. We're showing you what we want to show you. Everybody does it. Period. So
Right.
for me, when you come to my page, it is purposely curated to show you my work. I hope that you enjoy my work, watch my work, support my work, book me for future gigs if you'd like to have me on board with you. And I use that with that in mind. I curate my social media page, especially my Instagram and my Twitter and my
How
Facebook.
do you manage to like do it though? Like, I don't even know what I'm trying to ask you with this.
Thought process.
Yeah. What's your thought process behind how you curate your social media?
Well, like I said, the main things that are in my head would be, I want to. My social media is about my work. It is not meant to be personal. I don't mind sharing personal aspects of me because I know I want you to know who I am, and that should give you an idea of who you're gonna, if you choose to book me, work with. Positive and creative. So with those three thoughts in mind, that's what I post, and I try to keep it within those lanes of my thought process. And that's natural for me. So I pick things that work for me. I want to show you my work. I want to showcase myself. It's like a portfolio to me. I want to engage followers and get future bookings. I want to be creative, which is me naturally all the time. So it's not really a deep thought when I'm thinking about what I'm going to post when it comes to those things. And shit, my train of thought just left me, man. I am a star. What was I saying? Oh man, but yeah, you get what I just. I'm repeating myself, but those are my three things that I'm trying to always think about when I curate it. So, man, it's just like because sometimes I just take random photos where it's not even like I'm with a photographer. I find myself as a very photogenic eye, and I'll just see different places and just capture moments, and I'll post that as well, and just put a little bit of me on that, speak a little bit of me on that. Like I can just turn anything I feel into a creative, dynamic moment, and that's my confidence, and that's just me and my personal little stamp on things.
Where
and I try
this confidence? I've known you a long time, and you've always been. I'm not gonna say cocky. You're not a cocky person.
No.
Have always been confident and like had this extreme just understanding of who you are and who you want to be, So I'm wondering, where did this come from? How did you develop this?
It took a lot of time, girl, and I feel like you understand that as a fellow artist. It takes time. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of personal growth, and it takes a lot of just really enjoying art and what you're creating, where you just keep doing it. Because sometimes you fall on your face. Sometimes it doesn't turn out right. I think the first time I performed a poem, man, my leg was shaking horribly, and I don't even know how anyone heard me when all I could think about was how hard my left leg must have been shaking, and they could have like, what the fuck? I don't even know. So it's like you just keep going and keep going. So for me, it was like, I really love this, and I want to do this, and you're not going to tell me anything else. So this is going to get done, and I just need to release it, and I hope you like it. If you don't like it, oh well, I'm still going to release it because it makes me really fucking happy.
Did you always plan, like, was this always who you wanted to be, or was it like just something that kind of started to happen for you and you was like, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna just go with it.
You know what? You hit that on the nail, actually. It was something that I kind of started to happen, and I was just like, I'm gonna go with it. Just like what you said, honestly, it was I always wanted to be a writer, and I still am a writer. As you've seen my book, and I continue to write to this day. Um, but that was what I really had in mind growing up. I was going to be a writer. I'm going to be an editor, and I'm going to go to work in this publishing house and work this 9 to 5. And then as time passed, and I was 17, and I was asked to be on a slam team, and then time passed, and I went to college, and I explored New York, and then I was like asked to perform at all these other places and feature and perform at schools, and I was like, this is really cool, and I like all of this, and I was like, but I don't see it as like a long-term thing. But then I kind of fell into acting, and I was like, this is really awesome. And I was like, and this is so, like, every day at work is different. I kind of like this. I like the whole idea that every time I go to work, it's something totally different, no matter what is going on.
I get to live another life. I'm finding that I love wigs now. I've started a wig collection, mainly for my performances. So like I'll go someplace, and I did it 2 days in a row. I did this shit at Mark Gallery, because like I performed there 2 weeks ago when I still had my locks. So he books me for the following weekend to be a part of the grand opening, and I show up with this like little silver pixie cut wig the first night, looking like somebody's auntie. And
oh no.
You know what I'm talking about. I was looking like 227 out that bitch.
Oh my god.
And then the next night I show up in this like long peach, video vixen wig. That's what I call it. It's my video vixen wig. And both times, like, people who had literally seen me the day before, they were like, who is that? Who is that? And it was like, it's Joy. Same Joy as yesterday. Just as bald. Like, so that's fun. And like the fantasy of it. I also learned apparently I'm going to be in a movie or TV show or something like that.
Yeah.
So writing me a part, specifically writing a part for me to play and songs for me to sing. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
See, because you're a singer, you can do that. You can just slip into roles and just, I see casting calls for shit like that. I'll be like, I can't submit to that. I have no, la 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 la.
Like, I didn't submit for anything. Somebody just called me up and was like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know. I wanted to get your email because I wanted to let you know that, like, I'm writing this thing, I'm writing the show, and I want to see if you wanted to be in it because I have a part that I wrote specifically with you in mind. And like, it blew my mind because it was like, it's one of my dad's friends. It's not even like someone of my age group and generation and regular association. So it was like, yo, to have someone that has worked with my dad, to learn that they've been watching me long enough to be impressed by me. I'm like, I'm so happy. Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
You just do the work. You take that gig, hopefully. If it sounds right. You do what I always do. Please tell me all the logistics. Anytime anyone books me, I always say that. Please tell me all the logistics. And you can't imagine how some people are like, huh? But then most people just get it. Just give me everything. Tell me what the hell is going on.
Right. Do you have an agent or like a manager?
No, I currently do not. I have submitted to at least 4 modeling agencies, and we'll see. Fingers crossed. In regards to manager, no, I always felt like, because from my understanding, the manager manages and the agent gets you the work. So right now, if anything, I want the agent.
Is that hard?
I'm managing is a lot, but I'm managing.
How do you find the like navigating that world, just the entertainment world without an agent? Like some of the challenges, but also maybe some of the triumphs of not having an agent.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and like lie to you at all. It would definitely be beneficial to have an agent. they are that liaison for you, and advocate for you. And in this business, as in, I feel like almost every business that ever takes place in America, it's always who you know, regardless. So they do create that gateway as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's more beneficial to have one. But I feel comfortable without one. I am looking for one. If there's an agent out there watching, hey, you know
Hey,
what I mean? I am doing my research on that part. And like I said, with quarantine and COVID, that's where my mind has been at, being more knowledgeable about my art so I can take it to that next level that I feel is only inevitable if I just continue my pursuit. Because I feel good, you know what I mean? It's like you got to always be present, I say, in this business. Be present and just be ready, because sometimes it could be, especially because COVID right now, it could be like a week of silence. And I'm like, man, you know what I mean? And then I'll get like 5 audition requests. I'm like, oh shit, all right, let me get ready. Let me do this work real quick. And then you wait, you don't know, you know what I'm saying? And then, or it's a toss up now because of COVID.
yeah.
So it's not that hard to manage as it was before, I would say, where I was like writing down different dates and making sure I didn't overlap and book on different days, or they were calling saying, hold this day, we have you on a whole day, or wait call. And then you're like, what? And then someone else calls. And then I'd be like sitting there trying not to double book. And there were times where I would double book and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can I come in the morning, and then can I see you at 9:30, or what time can I make the fitting, or do you need me to get a haircut at what? So it was like but with COVID, things have slowed down. I hope they get more busy. I hope I get this knowledge together and I find this agent, and that's what I'm working on right now. Maintaining that balance is good, and just pushing myself, keep going, because I had some roles that I worked on. I had a lead role that I'm very excited to work on for a short film.
Hey.
Mobile Film Works.
Yes. Can we talk about Couple?
That's the lead role that I got, and I was really excited to play it. Like he said, once he auditioned me, he was like, "You're perfect for this. I could see you as Piper. You are Piper," and I was like, "I am Piper."
Oh, does it sound? Is it about what I think it's about? Because I mean, I figure like it's just about.
It's about okay.
3 characters.
I don't want to give anything away, but it's definitely about what's already given it away. Is I am in a relationship with 2 men, and we're all dating each other. We're in a throuple.
Oh, that's different. Because I really thought it was gonna be 2 women and a man.
No.
I like that storyline so far.
Yeah, it was it. I don't want to say too much, but it was fun. It was a lot of work, but filming is always a lot of work, and so it was great. I get to have a long day on set. I'm always excited when I'm on set. I can't sleep the night before. I just keep like running the whole thing in my mind mentally until I get there, like tired as fuck, like slept from 11 to 5, ready to go. It's 7 a.m. on set. We'll be here until 10 tonight.
Right.
You don't have time to
be up till
down for lunch. Just keep going.
Yo, how was that experience? Like, just one, where can people see this? Because I have seen like little shots. I'm thinking it's just not ready yet, but when it is ready,
because things take time. No matter what I work on, I never see the product like the day after we film something. Okay. Everything is post-production. Yeah. So honestly, I can't say anything until I get some more information after post-production.
Oh. All right. Well, you just make sure that you let us know when we can see it, because I really,
closer to the post.
I really want to see you in that lead role, but I also just want to see a film where 2 men and a woman are in a relationship. Like, I just really want to know how that whole thing works out. I feel like guys are not going for that shit. I have 2 boyfriends at once.
If you were only there behind the scenes on set, the conversations we were having about the script, like the moments we would have, I'd be like, this is not realistic enough for me. And he'd be like, my co-star would be like, well, that's what I'm comfortable with.
Like, you want me to put my hand where? Nah, bro.
I was
Nah,
like, we're
bro,
all in a relationship
pause,
together.
bro.
So why can't you
That's all I
guys
hear
do
in my head.
something?
Talk about conversations. I just hear guys reading, going, pause, bro. Nah, son, no. Pause, dog. All of this, you gotta rewrite all of this. I'm not doing it. Like, I can just hear that in my head when I think about
Oh man, yeah, you got it right, man. You can
wow.
only imagine. Like I was saying, we'd be about to film something. He'd be like, rehearse real quick. We would just do our lines. Then he'd be like, all right, now get to your marks, get to the marks. And then right before we go, well, I don't know if we should say it like that. Maybe I should just say it like that. And I'm sitting there like, don't
Maybe I
tell
can say
him.
this other
Now
thing.
you're going to change it up. Now we just
Now you gotta do it over. Like, wow. How was that? What was that like filming? Because of like, I know this is something you filmed in the last couple months, right? Like during the
Yeah, we did it in two days because it's a short film, and I believe one in July and one in August. So we spaced it out because we rented, or it was not we, I didn't do it, but the Noble Filmworks rented like this really beautiful apartment for the scenes that we did, and we waited again for it to become available.
was that like, was there any kind of inconvenience to that, just with all the extra precautions that we now have to take interacting with each other? Like, how did that kind of change? Did that affect the process
Well, yeah, we had the script.
how did that change the process for y'all of how you made this film happen?
Girl, we had to even change some of the stuff in the script a little bit, with closeness and intimacy and anything like that. Like already, everybody's like, I mean, we did get COVID tested. That's pretty mandatory right now. You really can't even come to a set without showing a negative COVID result. Or on certain sets, I see that I've been hearing they do it instantly. Like they'll just swab you right then and there. So one or the other has to happen. So yeah, girl, we had to even kind of think about how the intimacy, or if there was any, or what happened, and we thought about all of that, how it was filmed, angles. It made things a little more complicated. If there was a lot of people in a room, excuse me, the freaking COVID person, or I'm sorry, not the COVID person, I don't want to say that, but the health and state, whatever their term is, would be like, okay, who doesn't need to be here needs to leave. And we had the whole 3-floor house or whatever to use, so it wasn't like we couldn't go anywhere. So I was like, all right, well, I'm out on the porch, sure, and this person's over, whatever. We're gonna spread out now until we're actually needed for the scene. So we had to be very conscious of where we were, and I was always eating and drinking coffee because that's me. So I was always like, I gotta go disappear, guys, because my mask is coming down. And I'm snacking and I'm drinking.
Like, you cause mad trouble. You sound like you caused trouble.
Yes. I need my makeup retouched because I just ate I don't know, a chocolate bar. Why'd you guys have chocolate bars? It's real.
Man. Yeah, that shit is so real. Have you been watching any good TV lately?
TV. Oh man. Well, I'll say this. R.I.P. the 100. That's my show.
Really? The 100?
Clark. They were gonna leave her. They were gonna leave her and do her dirty. So
I'm like adamantly against watching that show.
Why? It's amazing.
Because it reminds me of this other show from a while back that they just abruptly stopped. It's just like too similar of a storyline, it seems. I don't know. I'm just not into WB stuff as much anymore. Also, I have this whole problem in my brain where like I just don't want to watch white people do anything that much these days. Like I don't me, like it's my sensitivity. Like I'm kind of tired of stories that don't involve me. Like it's just I'll watch it eventually. I'll get around to it. It's definitely on the list because you're not the only one. But like I'm dying to talk to somebody about Lovecraft Country right about now. Like,
sorry, I'm not. I will.
Gotta watch
on that.
Man, you can watch
I'm still mourning the 100. It just wrapped its 7 season for it's like that's it. Like there's no more. 7 years later. I've been watching this show. So
why
when you
I felt
said
you
my
as well.
TV, I'm thinking like Clark was a bisexual badass.
So, I don't know what you're talking about.
She would just walk in a room and she would either slit your throat or she
Man,
liked you.
this
And
show.
it was such a crazy show. It was about survival and oh man, it was about survival of what you would do to survive. Like what you would do when pushed to certain limits to survive. Like the different circumstances you had to go through.
Okay, well, knowing that that's the plot line, I'll go watch it.
And it was pretty, and it had one of my favorite actors on it, Adina Porter. Oh my God, Adina Porter. She's one of my favorite black actresses. Queen. You may know her from American Horror Story.
Oh yeah, I like
she's like thin. She has short hair, very short cropped hair.
Yeah.
She always plays very intense characters.
Yeah, she can handle it though.
Oh man, I love her.
And that's the thing. I've also been getting on this Quibi. I've been getting on Quibi. If you don't know what Quibi is, it's this app that people make shows that are 10 minutes or less. Every episode of a show is 10 minutes or less. So you can watch a whole season in like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Right? And there's actually a couple shows on Quibi that like I saw there's one called Don't Dig Deeper, which is about like this android girl who doesn't know she's an android. She's unaware that she's an android, and every time she finds out she's an android, they reset her memory. They like wipe her memory and reset her. And so she like outwits everybody and somehow still survives. Like she has a soul. It's crazy. Don Cheadle is in it, and he is the most doormat of a man I've ever seen him play. Like I've never seen him in this type of like very meek and kind of pushover type role. You know what I'm saying? Where he's basically this scientist bitch. Like she just played the shit out of him. You know what I mean? But they made this android to be able to like develop feelings. The whole point of AI, you know what I'm saying? To be like a thinking robot that feels human emotion and doesn't know that it's an android, right? And so they keep trying to keep her from self-actualization, but it's actually her self-actualization of her being an android that allows her to like actually evolve and have feelings and something of a soul. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm like, it's something I definitely would have to watch to understand with a blunt, maybe.
It's really good. It's especially good with a blunt. There's also a show called Nikki Fresh, and I swear, I think I'm not a fan of this girl, Nicole Richie.
Nikki Fresh?
It's called Nikki Fresh.
Oh, on Quibi?
On Quibi. Okay. I'm not a fan of Nicole Richie, but she is hilarious on this show. And unfortunately for me, I actually like her Parent Trap. I think it fucking bumped. Like I'm mad that every single trap song she made on this, like did a whole, like they go all the way out, you know what I'm saying? And she makes all of these music videos that she calls Parent Trap, right? Conscious trap she talks about honeybees and all this shit. And like all of this like adult shit that like adults, you know.
Oh, I love it.
And it's actually pretty catchy, and she's hilarious. And I'm glad I watched it. Like regardless of anything, I'm still not a fan, but I do like this show. I think it's hilarious. I don't know. And then I've just been watching a lot of old stuff that I used to, you know, not understand as a kid, but now that I'm an adult, I definitely get the jokes and shit. So I'm like halfway through Girlfriends.
Ooh, that's a throwback.
Yeah. Because when it was out, I was like 9 or 10. I was like 10 years old when that shit came out. I didn't get none of that shit.
I don't think so. I did either at all. Like
and I didn't think it was funny. I didn't see the point of it. But now watching it as an adult, I'm like, word. Like now I get it a lot more. It hits different. You know, when you go back with your critical adult eyes, you're like, oh, I get that joke now.
Oh, that means way more than I thought it did. Yeah, when I go back and watch American Pie, I find so many different things that may have missed the mark when I was younger. Like, I would have been like, the obvious jokes, and then been like, oh, well, guess might have been.
Plus, you know what? I also am understanding the value of these shows a lot more. Like the episode I just finished watching, I was watching with my dinner, was the episode where like one of Joan's old friends came for Tony's wedding, and they found out she had AIDS, and I realized like Girlfriends is one of the only shows that like actually fucking talked about that topic at the time in the late 90s, early 2000s, when AIDS was like a thing that nobody understood, and it was wrecking, HIV and AIDS was rampantly causing so much damage in the black community and the gay community. Remember when they used to call it the gay disease? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's real.
it was interesting to see that now and be like, damn, I didn't even realize like they were one of the only shows at that time to even write that type of stuff into it, right? Talk about baby mamas and baby daddy drama, or what happens when, you're dating somebody and they got somebody else pregnant and didn't know, and they just found out. Like shit like that happened. Because I dated somebody and he got somebody else pregnant right before, but didn't know. And she showed up. Like that happened to me as an adult.
Shit.
My boyfriend discovered that he was about to be a father while we were together with the girl that he had just left. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, what do? I just walk away. Go raise your baby. Go raise your baby. I got kids. I'm Gucci.
And that's what I would have said too, girl. I don't have any. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but these are all things that like, especially like now I'm settling into my black womanhood a lot more. It's my womanhood a lot more, period. But like I find that the older I get, the more I'm valuing female friendships. Like it's really important to me now to have friends that I don't sleep with, right? Because we all know I used to be a fuckboy, okay? Like let's not sit here and act like I wasn't.
I think we all had points in our lives. Please, if you didn't, you're lying.
Right. If you want to sit here and like you were never a fuckboy, you are lying.
Not even for a month. Really? Come on.
Yeah.
Please, I'm having daydreams sometimes. Yeah.
In my former fuckboyhood, I realized like I didn't have a lot of female friends. I had a lot of women companions, and I've had many male friends, and I've also had many male companions. But until recently, like the last, I want to say like 4 or 5 years, I wasn't really cultivating those friendships as just friendships, right? And then like I just realized I don't know when I stopped trying to be a fuckboy, but I definitely did make a decision one day to be like, yo, I just would really like to just have friends. I would like to just have friends, like not friends. Like, yeah, just friends, like just friends. And it's been invaluable. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a necessity. Do you find that? The camaraderie of other women, like I feel like that's a necessity for women.
Oh yes, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. I think that's a beautiful transition, an experience that you went through. I feel like I went through that myself. I don't know when that happened for me. Not recently. I don't know, but it happened. Whenever it was happened to me, it happened, and I was just like, I really want to really just make sure that, like, I just felt like, how do I answer this? Right? Not right or wrong, but like, how do I articulate this? I would say after a while, to piggyback off what you said, it becomes almost, I don't want to say it's boring, but it's like so redundant when you feel, I'm like trying to figure out how to say this right, like to get my point outright. Like it almost feels so mundane after a while when someone wants to be around you or is around you for that motive of sex or sexuality, right. or that's at the end of the day that is what they're waiting for. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like they're waiting for that moment to happen. They're like, I know you're gonna fuck me. We fucked before. I'm waiting now. Hey, and
What?
there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But for me, after a while, it became so mundane and
Right.
disingenuous.
That can't be all there is. That
There's
can't be
so
all
much more to life, man. There's so much more to relationships and what intimacy
Hello.
can mean.
Yes, there is.
Say
And
that right.
there being so much more to relationships. I'm gonna take another quick break, and mainly because this is one of my favorite things. Plus, a lot of your videos I'm on your page. I was trying to pick out some of your videos, but most of your videos are like super old, girl. And I was like, I don't think.
Oh, on YouTube, I have not done shit with my YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm lame. I'm working on it. That's my next. I'm like, let me just put this website out.
So what I'm doing is I'm gonna play this playlist. You have a playlist on here. It's like collaborations. It's about 5 videos. So this is what we're gonna get into while we take a quick break. So
you're gonna play
the bathroom.
the whole playlist?
The morning
Yes.
affordable updates.
That
and
playlist.
Costless World Market is my go-to place to get scented
That
candles.
playlist. That collabs playlist.
All right.
Behind
That's a good one. I'm fucking with
As
you.
live wire dancing in the moonlight. Touch
I'm echoing and I'll turn my
transfer
shit off.
energy. We'll do this all night till dawn's break, till we get it right. Mash up disproportionate past with uncharted future. Geometric puzzle pieces scattered on cotton covers. No sleeping. Loud novel of body language. I read your strut into the kitchen. Notepad sketches of half-finished thoughts I ate for dinner. We drank Pepto labels wrapped on beer bottles. Don't throw stones in glass houses you do not own. Burn the bed. No sleeping. You threw me off the roof into the sky. I laughed until impact got high on clouds. Sally Skellington taught me needle and thread. Death is another door. Sew up limbs and organs. Version 5.0 stands taller. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Shut your mouth. Open your chakras. There is magic when you touch me. Transfer energy. We'll do this all night till we get it right. We're all trying to get it right.
Bringing 88 back.
I want some love too. She wants some love. I want some love too. And I come to a conclusion that's fucked up that I want you. She said she wants some love. I said I want some love too. She wants some love. I want some love too. And I come to the fucked up conclusion that I want you.
Do love, mankind. Check, tough love struck, love lust, bloodlust, fucked up. I want us, I want something, lump sums of cash and jumbo lump crabs out in Aspen like what's love? Tough love, it once was, weak-hearted and dumbstruck, I done water dunce cat many times, sat in the corner of classes plenty times, and watched all facts taught to the masses. I couldn't handle the wax from the candle, I lit the wick, I lit the spliff and I gambled. Yeah, I ashed in my own hands with thoughts of never being a grown man while trying to find a zenith for Conan. Wonder Woman to a black Hercules coming through Sun is Zeus certainly. Dove head first with no certainty. The pool was shallow and Cupid shot me. Used the arrow, pierced my bones right through the marrow, through the heart. He knew the artist, I was a moving target. He still hit me with the skill, still tips. Made me wanna steal a little kiss. Tough love, 100 real shit, huh?
To the fucked up conclusion that I want you.
Yo, tough love, tough titty.
I remember when you didn't wanna fuck with me, said it didn't make sense. I didn't make enough pennies to the penny a la vodka in a cup full of Remy. Said, what up, kitty? Hello. Is it me that you looking for? I'm right in front of you. What you looking for? Close your eyes. Feel the passion. SummerSlam madness. Hit the headboard. Feel the mattress. I'm doing backflips. You know my love is Rey Mysterio. You the honey nut, strawberries and my Cheerios. I love it when we spoon. You don't hear me though. Please reject fear, but my silent pleas fell on deaf ears. It's a Cactus Jack death match. Barbed wire rope. I'm hardwired to try to find the hope. Hope for us. Broken trust, smoking lust till we choking up. Teddy Pendergrass, close the door or open up.
Love and harmony are words in a foreign language. I promote them, and when they're spoken, I smile and nod as if I am a broken record. A classic melody. Cylinder phonograph spinning of the mind stuck on the favorite line of an old song. Scratched and tarnished, dropped and chipped. But I can still play, I can still play, I can still play, I can still play that one line. A line that mystifies me. Clouds logic, gut spasms, intuition on frantic, prognosis appears doubtful, but you must agree that life equals pain. The equation is simple, but it still has me going mental. I'm still trying to add something, subtract 10, raise to the third power, find a square root, and divide you in. Yet math always gave me a headache. And from my over intake, I just can't seem to stay awake or pay attention long enough to solve that equation. Chaotic mathematician. With pen and pad and open arms, school is where I'm heading for necessary teaching. Knowledge is Ferris wheel turning, witches brew binding forever and always worth seeking. Please, don't leave me. This world is an icebox and I'm just too damn broke to buy a winter coat. This change in my pocket, dropping in a wishing well. I'm wishing well these days for warmth. I need the heat of our harmony. Please keep this record on repeat, because I'll never stop playing your favorite song. Never stop force feeding, spoon shoving, swallow this line. Peace, love, and harmony. Sing it with me. Peace, love, and harmony. Please keep this record on repeat. Enlighten everyone you meet. Shout it from the rooftops. Make a stranger feel like someone familiar. Turn off the computer. And as you watch the fade of the monitor, realize that this is a new dawning. Sun rising to dispel the mysteries of what we could achieve as a unified humanity. Just reach out and touch me. No more socializing through cold and personal wiring. Reach out and touch the world. Lend a hand. Never say no to someone in need. Stop mean mugging and prejudging. Let's lose all concepts of what a word is. Dismantle the alphabet. You just are who you are, and we accept that. No more questioning or analyzing. Pass my lyrics on, because I know you love this song. No matter how scratched and chipped, dropped and tarnished, no matter how misplaced this record is, I play it for you. It will stay on play. Thank you.
Another real piece. You're touching me, man. You're touching my heart over here. Creative writing is just a great way to deal with certain issues that we are going through right now in our current times and situations. There's a lot of racial tension. There's a lot of violence going on out there. There's a lot to talk about, and creative writing can be a great outlet for that, to express yourself safely. And you're not hurting anybody or anybody else. You're spreading knowledge. You're spreading your peace, and you're allowed to do that. Share your 2 cents. Put it in. Thank you, Henrik. student from the North Star Academy is going to come on stage and bless us. Hold on, sorry, slow. All right. We have Aaron.
So those last few poems got me a little intimidated, but
That's all right.
I just started writing October. It's like this is a personal poem for me. It's called Gwick. I'm gonna get started. Gwick, a nonsense word, a random arrangement of letters. What could it mean? Great, unique, independent, creative, and kind? Is it a misspelled African storyteller? I invented it. A Guido and a Spick. I invented it to make my own category of race. I was so sick of the questions. What are you? How do you get that hair? What? Like an object. You may make fun of my word, but how is it different from the other racial slurs? Is it a slur or identification? Or is chink and jap used because of pure laziness? America is considered the great melting pot. If that is the case, then it must look like a French onion soup. You hear Gwick and it sounds ridiculous, but how do you think it was with chink and jap or even nigger? They are not words for a reason. Race is not real. We are all one race. We are not Wicks, niggers, spicks, wetbacks, Guidos, honkies, chinks, crackers. We are human.
I really felt that one. I can feel you. Growing up with, sorry, let me cut myself off. Clap one more time for You felt that. I can't speak for everyone, but I know I felt that. Growing up, I had a lot of girls in my high school put gum in my hair and make fun of my hair because it wasn't as kinky as theirs. It should have been kinkier. It should have been rougher. Why was it so straight? I had to cut off some of my hair because of that. They would really come at me because of that. I didn't fit the description of what I needed to be. I wasn't black enough. I wasn't white enough. And that to me is straight bullshit. We are all the human race. So thank you for sharing that poem. That very much touched me, Erin. Thank you. One more time for the North Star Academy students. So I appreciate them coming out this evening and sharing with us. Let's just say like what, I don't know, like 5 minutes? Say hi to who you're sitting next to, let the music rock, and I'll be back on stage to introduce the Montclair State University Slam Team, our first featured act. Thank you.
Two.
So I'm stopping it right here because I just saw that this next video that's on your playlist is like 44 minutes long. I'm like, whoa. Not today. Not today.
Oh man, it's all good. It's all good. That's hilarious. That took me back, yo. That was from when I when I created and I hosted a slam event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
2015, dog. Like,
oh man, I love my
videos on there. Like when I first met you, and you still had that long hair. Like your hair was like down to your waist.
Yeah, no,
I was like, you letting it grow back out?
I'm getting requests, or not requests. I have a certain person requesting that I grow it out.
You should
And
join the Baldy Nation.
I'm debating. I might grow it out, honestly. I've had it short for about 5 years,
Yeah.
and I might grow it out. I don't know. I'm torn though. I'm so used to it being short now, to be honest with you. So it's like growing it out sounds like, oh, more work.
You know what? That was one of the many reasons I was like, I'm just gonna cut this shit off. Like, and I've been saying it for years. For years, I've been like, I'm gonna cut my hair. I don't know. And then I just had an idea. Something popped in my head, was like, shave your head, shave all that shit off. Like,
So free. I love it.
I just kept hearing, just let it all go. Let it all go. And I was like, all right. So I made the appointment. And when I woke up, I still had the idea to do it. When I got to the barbershop, and Kane was like, yo, you sure you want to cut your locks off and get a baldy? I was like, yes, that's what we're doing. All the confidence I didn't even know I had. And from like that first cut, oh my God, my soul just felt that cut and it was like, it just felt so good. This feels amazing because now I can sleep without strangling myself. It's great. Yo, my hair used to get wrapped around.
You had so much of it, so I totally get it. Like you really did. Like you had a lot going on. I mean, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it was great, but you did have a lot going on.
It was a lot. It was a lot, especially once I started growing the sides back out and braiding it. Like I would get the top twisted and like put into a design, and then get braids designed on the sides. And it's like, as wonderful as that was, it never lasted. Because I'm not that girl. I can't rock a hairstyle for like 3 weeks. I can't. I just don't.
No, it comes out for me within like 3 days. I'm over it. I slept it out.
I just paid myself like $200 a month now. I don't have like go get my. But now I'm pissed because my hair's growing back already. Like you see, I got the 5 o'clock shadow on my head already. I'm tired.
I mean, I can barely tell, to be honest with you. The vibe's still going. You can have a little peach fuzz until you really need to work it out.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm probably gonna keep it, like, get it shaved every 2 weeks for the next couple months. And I know I'm not ready to grow it back yet. I just got here. Like I just got here. I really want to enjoy it. And I've never been bald before, so it's awesome.
It looks so freeing. It's just from an outsider looking in, it just looks like,
man, even with the air getting colder, like it's getting colder now, I still feel so wonderful. Excuse me. I feel so wonderful.
That's hilarious. You're like, I still feel so wonderful.
I just
wonderful.
Really
don't tell him.
It's really nice to feel the hair on the air on my scalp again. To wear hats. I missed hats. I've had so many hats that I have not been able to wear for years because of all that fucking hair. Right? I couldn't wear hoodies. There were some hoodies I couldn't wear.
So now it comes to light. The hair was restrictive.
The hair
was restricting you from living your best hat life.
Yes, it was. Goodbye.
I love hats too, man. When I had long hair, it's when I wore my hats. Actually, now it's short hair. I feel like it just swallows me, the hat, because you don't see the hair anymore.
Yeah, that can happen. I like wearing my hat for like the first couple of days that I had the baldy. I would just like wear my hoodie everywhere. I wore my hoodie all day, every day, and so people would see me and like, you look different, but I don't know. I said, you don't see anything when you look at me though, right? And they're like, no, I don't see anything. And I'm like, exactly. And then they'll look close and be like, where is your hair?
Like it just left and it will be back later. Where'd it go? Vacation?
Yeah, my dad's the funniest. He was like, he tells me, he's like, oh, you're beautiful. And then I'm talking to one of his friends on the phone and she's like, yo, your dad he was like, she cut all her hair off. Like I was crazy. He was like, what? He talked to me and he's like, what prompted this? I was like, have you not been alive in 2020? Like 2020 process, 2020 period. Like I just
have you seen this? Are you waiting for the 2020 season finale? Because I am. That's how I feel every day.
This plot twist, because there is definitely a plot twist coming. Like, we're in the third act now.
Yep. I love that you put it in your context. You can put that in the script context. We are
that plot twist is gonna be killer. I feel it happening. You know what I'm saying? And somebody posed this idea to me that I think is genius, right? If the president has COVID, and let's say Mike Pence probably has COVID too. Let's say the two of them become incapacitated and unable to fulfill their duties. You know who becomes president? Motherfucking Nancy Pelosi. That would be the ultimate plot twist to me. If both of these motherfuckers become incapacitated and unable to perform their duties. And
it would go to her next after the vice president?
Huh?
It would go to Nancy Pelosi after the vice president.
Yeah, because she's the Speaker of the House. It goes President, Vice President, Speaker of the House.
I mean, that would be a fantastic plot twist. I mean, when I first heard he caught COVID, I was chilling with my friend Akira, and I looked at her, it looked at me, and it got quiet in the room. I put my phone down after reading it. And I was like, I mean, if he dies and all, I mean,
I'm not even gonna push it that far and say he's gonna die.
I mean, and she goes, I mean, well then, I mean, you know, some things, get solved with that. And then we just had a moment, and I'm just gonna say it like that.
And video talking about we over here plotting to kill the president, like no,
not at all, but
already died.
Circumstances, COVID kills. Period. That's all I'm saying.
Right? COVID kills. Period. Like that's a known fact. He is in that age range of being in danger.
He's pretty elderly. You guys forget how old these people are. Really,
right.
They're elderly as fuck.
We forget how old these motherfuckers are. I had said to myself too, I was like, you know what? If all you need to do to be president, the only requirement for being president is to be over the age of 35 and to be an American citizen. Those are literally the only two requirements to be president. If I get $10 million, I'm running for fucking president.
I was gonna say, are we gonna have a campaign? I mean, don't do Joe Biden's campaign.
My campaign would be it would be my foundational blocks of my campaign would probably be liberation of all peoples, specifically and first and foremost through the liberation of Black people. Like I want to make the government make good on all their promises. Since now Juneteenth. How do you feel about that? About Juneteenth being an official federal holiday?
First, I want to say, like, to piggyback off what you just said first, if I ever ran for president, man, I would destroy the Federal Reserve Bank.
Oh my!
We're gonna restart, reset fucking everything financially by first getting rid of this outside private company that dictates our dollar and our money.
That's based on nothing, because remember, we got no more gold in the reserve.
Based on nothing, because it used to be based on actual gold would back up that dollar, that paper tender. There's no gold. Yeah, so I had to say that. I just had to say that.
You had gold like for a moment. I was like 10, 15 years ago. Like, I don't know what the fuck we're basing our money on now, but unless we got some secret vibranium or something, we're
okay. Oh my God!
Don't let another country get their money back, right? Because we owe China.
China owns us.
China owns us.
We are like a subsidiary. We are a subsidiary. I'm fucking up the word, but you dig. Of China, we are like their own. They are our boss's boss.
So when this nigga tries to stage a coup, what are you gonna do? Like, because I feel like
I hope Canada accepts me. Because it's gonna be so real. I hope I'm gonna be like Canada Prime Minister. I don't got no felony. I don't got no charges like that. You know, my record kept me through.
Yeah, I'm on that line. Yo, I've been like,
can I seek asylum
for a minute?
Refugee status.
Shit, last year when I visited my mom, I almost didn't come back from Amsterdam. I missed my flight 3 times. 3 times by accident on purpose because I didn't want to come home. And it was almost as if I had a feeling in my soul that this bullshit was going to happen. Right. But I came back anyway, came back to America, went back to the job, and then this bullshit happened. I'm like, damn, I should have stayed. I knew I should have stayed. My mom was the real psychic one because she left America the week before Trump was elected. She left the week before the 2016 elections. And I flew back to New York the night of the elections, right? So when I got back, it was like the day after election day. It was like November 3rd. And I was just like, I really had thought Hillary had won because everything I saw on the street was like saying that Hillary had a higher count. Like they're showing the numbers, and I'm like,
man, this is getting me so aggravated. Yeah, man. Because she won. She won the popular vote. So she did win. I mean, she won the people.
Right.
The people's lives.
She won the people.
The people. This elite electoral college, no, not so much, but the people, which I think, in my opinion, whatever. I mean,
and
I feel like sometimes it's a circle that it's so hard to. We need to. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm an anarchist right now. We need to just restart the whole thing. Throw this shit away.
I'm with it. I'm I keep saying it these days. I'm here to fuck up the whole world and build a new one.
It's trash. We need to reset everything. It's all trash. Restart. It's rigged from the day. That means we can't trust any of it. Like it's all interwoven throughout all this time.
Right. What gets to me is that people are still not realizing, right? There's a lot of ignorant people out here who refuse to vote. And that shit pisses me off because I'm like, guys, if you voted, you can change the DAs who, prosecute under these laws. You can change the judges. I don't even know why the fuck we're voting in judges, right? You can change the judges who interpret the laws. You can change your aldermen or your city councilmen or any of the people that make the laws in city council, right, for New York City or for your city. You can change the senators and the Congress people who should only have 2 or 4 year terms. And these motherfuckers been in there for like 25 years. Why?
They're old and dusty.
They make up the electoral college. Nobody's paying attention to that fact. Fuck the presidential office.
It's not a reflection of the people to have old and dusty only. No offense, only on that panel. It should be diverse, which is an actual reflection of this country. Diverse in age, diverse in race, diverse in gender. Come on. So this doesn't make any sense. It's like this. It's like I said. It's like rigged from the start. It's interwoven already in there. We have to reset everything. We have to sit back and be like, nope. This has got to go.
Yeah.
But I do get why people say don't vote because people are in such a state of distrust that it's like, will this vote do anything or will it just fucking float away into the breeze with the way that, especially the way Trump is flaunting how he manipulates what happens in government and policy and with head figures to us. He flaunts it. It's in our news. It's in the podcast. You hear it on the radio. It's happening all the time. He's like, yeah. All this shit is happening. It's in our faces. So it's almost like, does this vote
you're okay with it? Like, I don't know how people are still okay with this guy.
Like not that, but he gives you the idea of like, I'm getting away with so much manipulation.
Right. He lets you know.
Every day in your face, and I'm still here, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah, they just don't hear him. They go, no, like he didn't mean that. Like, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It just cultivates trust in the process. It shows that their hands are in our process. So maybe the process is not functioning at a legitimate level. So therefore, can we trust what happens when our vote gets taken? I get it. Like, I totally get that side of the argument. Not to say don't vote, but I'm playing devil's advocate. Like, I can see that. because I have my moments where I'm like, I don't even know. Like, will it even make it to that person that's going to read it and count it? Will it get intercepted? Are they going to manipulate this? And next thing you know, it's going to say this when actually all the real votes are like it shows such a mafia mentality in our government.
Facts.
That gives me this like, oh, this conspiracy is happening. They paid off the person there to pay off the person there, and everyone's quiet. Okay.
That's also why, like, I try to advocate for voting as much as possible because it's like understanding the hierarchy of the government, understanding that like your vote will not count for the president. I know that, but it will count for all those other people who make the policies and laws that we live by. Yeah. If we change the judges and get better judges in there, more liberal judges or just more educated judges who have a wider cultural life experience, you know, then they won't interpret the laws to charge children as adults. You know what I'm saying? They'll, you know, they won't be reopening Roe versus Wade. Like, when will you just leave women's bodies alone? Let us handle our bodies. Like, what is so wrong with that? I don't know why we keep coming back to these same fucking arguments. For what? You know what I mean? The DAs that decide to prosecute people, they probably wouldn't keep prosecuting these kids for like dumb shit. Like, I don't know, being expelled because my hair was an afro. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You know? And we don't think about those smaller roles. Like, that's why I really try to talk about the smaller roles that our vote really does apply to. Because imagine, like, if you had a city council full of people who understood what it was like to struggle, then they wouldn't be reinforcing laws like, you know, back in the 90s, they had the broken window theory. That wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah.
If there were more people in place making these policies, you know what I mean? But then I also believe that like Black and brown people should just rewrite all the laws and get a legion of white people to push them through for us. Like, I'm totally a fan of the white shield. Like, white people go out into the street, y'all settle all that racism bullshit that y'all started, that you put on everybody else. We didn't do it. And then just let us rebuild the world in an equitable way, right? Let us make the new policies. Let us set things, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't know. I don't have no answers. I just got theories.
I mean, that's all we can do, I feel. It is at least we're having these conversations. At least we're taking this initiative. At least this is something we're putting out there, you know. We could be choosing to talk about anything right now. And we both sit here and acknowledge that this is meaningful, this is important, this is impactful. And it needs to be discussed. Even if we do not have all the answers, by having these conversations, hopefully we can get closer to the answers at least.
Right, hopefully.
And having dialogue. Because I'm sick of it too. I mean, it really baffles my mind. And the only thing that makes sense to me is fear. You know, there's always so much fear that controls human beings, that can control human beings. And when people let that take a hold of them, this is the type of world we live in. A world of opposition. And being scared of your neighbor, or being scared of someone who's darker, or you know, or being scared of someone who's a woman. It's fear. It's some type of, and it's really sad. And it's a disease.
It's fear, and it's. I totally agree with that, and I think it's fear of losing power somehow. Like, you know, we kind of came up. This country has a way of polarizing everything, so it's an either or situation, right? And I truly believe like that white supremacy created this thing that said we can't all be powerful. We can't share power, right? By creating hierarchies and bureaucracy, right? So there's a chain up and down. There's no lateral spread of power, or like, you know, if it's just like when men get threatened by strong women because somehow me being strong makes you weak or effeminate or whatever the fuck, you know, goes on in their heads. But when you see a powerful woman, lots of men get intimidated because they feel like somehow they're losing something, you know. And I feel like that's also the basis of all of these racial biases that exist in the country, like in the framework of this country. It's based on this fear that if you let somebody else be empowered, you'll lose your power because their power is based on power over. It's not based on like a net of community or like on I forget what it's called, but it's like it's not based on sharing power. It's based on exploitation. It's based on oppression. It's based on taking from somebody else so that you can have, right? But like every other culture, our power is based on empowerment. Like if everybody's doing their part in the community, then the whole community thrives. And that's who we are as a people all around the world. Doesn't matter where you go. You know, you encounter any indigenous any indigenous culture has some version of that theory of like one hand wash the other, the two hands wash the face, right? If I got food, we can eat, you know, but only in like not even only in America, but in these places where white supremacy like basically rules, right? It's not that. It's if I have food, I have food. Like you should work harder to get more food. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, let me share what I have with you because we can both eat this way. And so I think that's also a big part of what's happening, that shift, you know, that I call clapback culture. Like that's the shift that's happening right now where like we all just actively are breaking away from the oppressive cycles and the oppressive systems, the way these systems operate, and trying to figure out how do we do it how do we live together equitably? How does everybody, or at least I think that's where we should be headed, you know? I think right now I'm also going to start, I don't know, making a bunker out my basement because I really feel like America's got some heavy ass karma about to. So that's the plot twist of 2020. Our karma is going to come back in a big way, especially if this motherfucker tries to like overthrow the government.
He said that, I don't know how, man. He just makes me so angry. It's just
because he said he's going to resist the transition of power.
Transition of power. He was like, ideally, a continuation. He just he mocks us every time. He mocks us every time, and the more he continues to do so, and the more it just happens, and it's broadcast and over again. It really fucks up the standards set for his role in the future. I would say the president, you know what I'm saying? It sets a precedent.
He fucked up the standard, period. Just by
you know, the president now doesn't even carry the same weight as it used to anymore. It's we're a joke.
I know.
I'm not really a proud American right now.
I cannot say that like there is nothing that we can do. There might be nothing we can do, rather. There's got to be something we could do, but there might be nothing we could do to stop this guy from like basically ruining what could be a really great place to be. Like there's just so many things, like so many ways that we were going really good, and then he gets elected, and then it's like, what do you mean you just dismantled the Office of Pandemic Response, my nigga? Like what?
He is. I don't even. Girl.
It hurts my head too. Like
it hurts my brain. It doesn't. It be feeling like, yo, Queen. It just be feeling like I don't even know how to say it, Queen. I want to be banging my head against the wall. Like I just be sitting here like it's some things be feeling like common sense, like just common fucking sense, or and other people don't see it as common sense. And like I get it, we all have so many different backgrounds, so much perspective, so many different perspectives of where we're coming from in the world. But some things that are common sense are fucking common sense. You know what I mean? I touch a hot stove, it's fucking hot. So why are we even having
right? Like we literally
conversations still in such a cycle?
I don't understand.
The older I get in this world, like I'm 31 now, and I know you have more life experience than me, so you definitely get this. Like I see patterns, so many patterns and things in my own life, in my personal life, and in society at large, internationally, and it becomes like I wish I remembered that poem by one of my favorite poets. Fuck. And I'm totally drawing a blank right now. But in the poem, it's about a gyre, and I'm fucking it up. But it talks about life, and it's spinning. He's so fucking philosophical. And I think I gave his book to like my brother or whatever because I wanted to share it, and I never got another one. And he talks about how life is like a gyre, and it's like this spinning thing that's always happening. And it's like, when are we going to just stop doing this though? Like, why is it? And then it makes me think back to like existential shit and, you know, karmic shit and like Buddhism shit. And I'm like, maybe we as a people just haven't learned our fucking lessons yet.
That's why we put on time.
We keep sitting here grinding through this damn same cycle until we learn it. But how can we learn it when we stay so divided that we're not really communicating with each other? So will we ever get this lesson? Because we're so busy in our own little personal fucking bubble and our own little personal grind.
Facts. Like, it's like I said, it's like, you know, I find it to correlate with technology, with like the rise of technology. And while it's so wonderful that we have all these tools to be like more self-sufficient, like it's kind of just encouraged us to also be disconnected from other people, to not treat people like people. Right? It's like now
we don't even like call people anymore. I think I called a friend recently. I was just sitting in my room and I was like, it's been a slow week. I'm chilling. I want to just sit on the phone and chit chat. I got, you know, hey. I call her up. She answers and she's like, is everything okay?
Right.
And I'm like, should it not be okay? Is everything all right? Are you okay? What's wrong? She's like, no, just saying, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm chilling. I just, what's up? I'm just saying, what's up? Now I feel like awkward and confused. And why? Like, is it so wrong that I called you?
Yeah, apparently there are people who actually like really complain about getting phone calls, where they'll be like, you should text me before you call. Why? If you don't want to talk, just don't answer the phone. Like, I hate that. Like, and what's the point of having a fucking phone if you're not going to call anybody? I didn't get a phone to just text. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think texting is great. I love it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't text. I do. I think it's great. But
yeah, that's not all you do.
It's not all you can do, man. So if I call you, don't act like it's a weird foreign thing that I fucking gave you a phone call. I'm trying to connect with you.
They don't talk to each other like that. You know, something I did start calling people again during the initial time of quarantine. I started just calling people because I realized like I had mad phone numbers in my phone. And I don't think I've heard from many of them in a long time. So I just started calling people. And it was also just like a test for me to like find out like, why do I have all these numbers? Are they even still these people's numbers? So, you know, I gave them all time limits in my own mind. I was just like, okay, if I don't hear back from you in the next 3 months, I'll just erase the number. So
I need to do that. I got random numbers on my phone that I don't even know anymore. Or I have 3 numbers for the same person and I'm like, which one is the real one now?
Right. Right. I don't know.
No idea.
And I don't feel like texting a million. I'm
not like, what? Or one of the common things I get that someone told me recently, they were like, I didn't know if I should call you. I don't want to get in the way of things.
What? That's why you call people. Don't pop up at my house. Don't just pop up at my house, but
that's a different story. That's a different story.
And if you don't have my number to call me, ask for my number. Also, here's an interesting thing I find. People that don't have my phone number yet have a problem with me. I don't understand how you cannot have my phone number yet have a problem with me.
They don't really got a problem.
They don't really have a problem.
Exactly. They don't really got a problem.
There was a great meme I saw the other day. I think either Brad Pitt or like posted with a picture of some star that I love. But he was like, if you don't have my phone number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. Like, I just don't see how that's possible if you don't even have my fucking
You
phone.
have an imaginary problem.
Right, you got an imaginary problem.
Mind.
Therapist about that.
Exactly, and that's okay too. You do that. Don't involve me.
Therapy is okay. I believe that everybody needs therapy. I think that I'm an advocate for therapy for mental health. You know, I started going to therapy last year when I found a black woman therapist. Shout out to my black lady therapist. And when I tell you that, it has been like the most refreshing thing to be able to talk to somebody about what I think is a problem and decide whether or not it's actually a problem and work through that, right? But also work through it and not be wasting half of my session defending my feelings, defending my actual experience. Because I didn't realize this until recently when I was talking to somebody about the experience of having a black woman therapist and the fact that, like, I've been to therapists as a child for various whatever reasons, right? And it was always so clinical, right? But it was also so offensive. And I didn't recognize that until now, not just because I wasn't an adult to understand these things, to understand like the nuance of language, but to look back on my sessions and be like, you know, I spent a lot of time defending myself. I spent a lot of time defending things that happened to me in a racial context where my therapist would ask me things like, are you sure it's because you were black? Yes, I'm sure it's because I was black. Like, I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like just little things like that, right? That sometimes we don't notice because we're so busy trying to get help. But to have somebody, to know that somebody's listening to you and you don't have to, you can tell in their reactions that they get where you're coming from, right? They understand your experience of like the microaggressions that annoy you every day at work, how like you have coworkers that try to stick their hands on your body and don't respect personal space.
Or touch your hair.
No, touch your hair. I remember being pregnant.
Like a fucking chia pet, yes.
Belly. I'm like, bitch, what? Who are you? And I mean, random strangers in the street would just try to touch my belly. And even now, I find myself doing the Matrix a lot because niggas try to just walk up on me and touch my head. And I'd be like, oh, where were you?
Like, who, like, yo, girl, I get aggravated.
My biggest, I would say nemesis, because I always end up getting into a fight with some white gay man or white gay men. They're the most problematic for me because my skin is super soft, right? I take very good care of my skin. And I remember multiple times I'll have like a backless shirt on or like something that, you know, shoulders exposed or whatever. And they will walk up. One day I had a guy, like, you know how people just touch your back to go past you and be like, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, excuse me. And he goes, oh. And he just starts rubbing all on my back and shoulders. And I'm like, excuse you? Who are you? Can you stop? Oh, don't worry about it. That's always the excuse. Don't worry about it. I'm gay. Yeah, and I'm still a fucking human being who doesn't know who the fuck you are. Can you stop touching me? Like,
it's COVID. Like, please keep your 6 feet. I don't be playing with motherfuckers.
Yeah, I those types of fights on a regular basis, mostly with white gay men. Just saying, guys. Just saying. But this true story, like that's a very common occurrence. White gay men always, and gay men in general, but white gay men specifically, always feel like it's okay to touch a woman's body however you want just because you're gay and you're not turned on to it. You know, you're not turned on by it. But just because you're not turned on by me does not mean that my body is open season for you to touch. I don't know. Does this ever happen to you? Gay men just start touching you and think it's all good and try to use that they're gay, so it's all right?
No, I would say honestly, no, not really often. I would say so. They would start touching me. Maybe my hair. I would get my hair more than right to my body. So no, not too crazy. But they would go for my hair, I would say, if anything. And then I'd just be like, I am not a dog. I'm not a cat. I'm not an
Right.
animal.
Don't pet me.
I am not your pet. I'm not your chia pet. I don't know what you think I am.
I'm not even your friend, man.
Like, do we know each other? Why are you so close? Why are you touching me? First of all, I don't even like to really be like, I like being touched. I'm a Taurus, you know, I'm a sensual being, but I don't like being touched by everybody. Just because I say I'm a Taurus, I'm a sensual being, doesn't mean everyone just come hug me and rub on me and I'm happy and this is great. No, this is weird. Who are you?
Sorry, dog.
What is happening?
At least ask. I don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm at a show, like I was at a show a couple of years ago and I was backstage and it was like an erotic show and this girl was walking around with like her, I don't know, she had like a thong on or something for her burlesque thing. And I was like, can I just smack your butt? She was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. You know, it was consensual. It was a moment. But
you asked. And I think that's a lot of the, you know, consent matters. Consent is sexy. Consent matters. Consent is required, guys and girls, people. Like,
yep, absolutely.
Even there's some, like, you know, we don't like to talk about this, but there are a lot of masculine presenting women that have that same toxic ass idea that it's okay to like touch on somebody in a sexual way or just like touch people that they don't really know, be mad handsy as flirting, right? Because like, and I've been dealing with this. I don't even want to call that back into my life. But like I find that that happens in LGBTQ world, you know what I'm saying, in the queer community. Like a lot of us also, again, I know that I've done it back in my fuckboy days. I did it. And it was like, oh word, I should probably stop doing that because that's hella disrespectful. You know what I mean?
I did that too, actually, back in my fuckboy days. I would roll with my favorite lesbian bestie, and we would roll out.
Yeah.
And we'd be pretty one track minded. And you know, that would be that. I mean, nothing happened, but I get that mind state where I was very like, you know, I was objectifying women and I was, you know, wasn't being very consensual to other women, and that's not respectful at all, and that's not something I'm proud of, and that's not cool. And I don't like it. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to you. Let's treat each other how we want to be treated. But with anything, it always takes guidance. It takes time. I'm not saying you need time to be respectful, but I'm saying that maybe someone needs to talk to you one day. You know, people out there, you know what I'm saying? Be like, this is, maybe you don't know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to have a moment or sometimes with someone and be like, this is actually the better way. It's what women really want. It's what people really want. Some enlightenment needs to happen. And that happened with me. I was like, I was like, you know what? This is cute and all. I want to be treated. And I want to be treated like this. So therefore, I'm going to adjust myself like this.
Right. That's it. All comes back to the self, right? Also, the better I treat myself, the better other people treat me as well. You know, I love that. I love that about having my own space now, that like there's like a vibe in my home and people just kind of feel it and respect it. There are a few people who don't. And those people I notice are people who never bring themselves back to my house.
Okay, bye. Exactly. Bye.
Yeah, like I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you not being in that space. Like I'm totally okay with not being disrespected in my own home. You know what I mean? Like
dead ass, seriously. I hate that. Let it go. I'm with that. That's my mantra, man. I'm letting it go. That's your problem then. Don't come back then.
Okay.
I know how I talk to people. I know how I treat people. I'm comfortable with how we interacted. If you have a problem with that, that's fine. I'm not gonna tell you how to feel. We're not gonna mesh. Keep it moving.
About social responsibility, right? Because you're pretty much you know, you've always been you're a very conscious, socially aware person, as can be told by the conversation we just had. Do you feel like a responsibility now in your art in this post-COVID world? Like, do you feel like you have a responsibility to speak, or have you always, if you do feel it now, have you always felt it, or is it any different now than before?
I've always felt that, because I've always felt that way, because I've always felt as if I needed to discuss what matters to me, what's important to me, and those issues are important to me. So therefore, it's going to show up in my art. It's going to show up in my poetry. It's going to show up in moments like these where I'm having open discussions. It's going to bleed into everything that I touch. Especially if you just have a conversation with me. One of my friends used to always be like, "Oh, my little activist." I'd be like, "Motherfucker, if you don't stop littering and pick up that motherfucking small activist, my ass, what planet are we gonna live on? Mars? Mars? Is that what you really want? With all them crazy white people trying to live on Mars?" Let them go to Mars.
I really hope Elon Musk gets that rocket going, and that way he could take all the white people to Mars and just leave
us. We can do this. This planet was here for us. It has abundance. We just need to take care of it. And therefore, it just bleeds out in my everyday conversation in my art. Absolutely.
Did you see what Nepal is doing now?
Whom?
Like, Nepal decided to, they have like intermittent, now they have intermittent, what's the word? Visitation. So like there are times of the year where you can't go to Nepal at all. Like they're going to not allow people within their borders for like 4 month spans at a time, like 4 months on, 4 months open, 4 months closed, because they found that the lack of tourists has allowed their ecosystem to recover during this time of COVID. And they're like, yo, we want to keep this popping.
Wow.
I can't always be here trying to make our Sherpas take you up that fucking mountain. Like, nah, this is not happening. And I was like, well, that is genius. That is fucking genius.
I mean, but you know what? That's putting environment over profit. And that's just not, it's literally, that's not built into the structure and the foundation of America.
Right.
You know, think about it. America was founded on slavery. Built everything in this country.
Built on it.
They weren't putting anything over profit. It was always profit over everything. That is like our fucking capitalistic motto that we live by. So that won't happen here unless we can somehow literally flip this system on its head, because it's constructed on a model of profit over everything as the bottom line. And you know, because we could make it happen. Like, we create money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything is an idea that's manifested by us. So why can't we manifest new ideas? Why can't we change?
People don't believe in magic no more. People believe like magic is some far-fetched thing, and I'm like, do you not believe in science? Do you not understand how, like, science literally explains how magic works, right? Because so there's the 4 states of being, you know, you have the 3 states of matter. You have solid, liquid, and gas. Your gas, the gas is your thoughts, right? The thoughts that you have, the ideas or whatever, to create something physical. And then the action, which is water, it's the liquid, right? Is the actions taken to build that thing. And then you have the physical state of manifestation. Like, that's basically how it works. Most people don't think like that. They don't. Again, common sense is not common. And then when you rip away people's culture for them and give them something else to believe in, they stop remembering that they too are like a piece of the divine. Like, yo, you don't need to go outside to talk to God. Look in the mirror. Like,
we don't have to do the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Just because we've done it for so long doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it okay. You know what I mean? Just because people are just very comfortable in complacency, excuse me, sometimes. And anything new is disruptive. And it's like, first of all, it's like the Green New Deal, you know. I don't know all the talking points of that, but it would be a drastic change to our society. We would have to be more mindful and things would be more restrictive.
Right.
for the betterment of our environment. Who no one, no offense, I want to do it, but no one really wants to do it. They're gonna be like, I already have to think about taxes and this and that. Now I got to think about putting this and that thing and washing this or doing that, or you know what I mean, or changing my habits and routines to cover the new system of how we recycle or how we collect or what we can't do anymore, what they take out completely. What I think it's like no more disposables, one-time use items. So then you're gonna have to like, we have to think differently. We have to take away this convenience we're so used to. If
Right.
you really want to start making change with certain things, instead of just having this, instant gratification society that we live in.
And right, see, and that part, that's the big part, because we forgot what work is.
Like real work, like
real work. You know what I'm saying? Not like, and this is not to knock anybody or say anything that you do isn't work, but like everything is work. Like you have to work to maintain an actual home, so it's not just a house. You have to work at being in a good and healthy relationship, because you have to keep choosing to, do the things to be with that person, or you have to keep choosing to be with that person, right? That's work. It takes work to fucking, man, to not just slap random white people every day. That shit takes
it takes work to feed yourself every day. Me and my best friend were having a joke about it. We were like, yo, we ask it like for the rest of our lives, every day we got to ask our own selves, what are we gonna eat for breakfast? What should we eat for lunch? What are you gonna eat for dinner? Like every day, it never ends. You're gonna wash dishes.
You gotta wash your dishes. You know what I'm saying? You want something to eat, you should cook. Like you should cook. A lot of people are eating out now, and like I've become this person who like I have to feel like hella crappy to order food, because like being a chef for so long has made me bougie as fuck when it comes to food. Like I was on earlier and I had ordered some sushi and some sashimi and some shumai. The sashimi was trash, right? It was cut horribly.
I can't do that.
It was cut wrong. So like, you know how you should have like, a smooth piece of fish. It had all of this like connective muscle tissue in it, so it got all like that's not the fish. That's not how you supposed
that
to.
That don't even sound right. You said it saw the connective muscle tissue. No,
yeah,
girl.
They cut the sushi all wrong. All wrong. I think I ate like one piece.
That sounds kind of gamey.
I ate the salmon because the salmon was the only piece of the sushi of the shumai that sashimi that was properly cut and tasted good at the same time. But the rest of it, I threw that shit out so fast. I was like, I'm never ordering from here again. It's crap. It's trash. So I don't eat out anymore. I barely eat out. I grow vegetables in my backyard.
And I was just thinking about that. That's awesome. I need to do some shit like that, girlfriend.
There was a time when I couldn't use my backyard, so I started to grow vegetables around the trees out front of my house. So like, on the street, it has like, there's a tree and there's just like mad dirt around it. So out front of my house, I have vegetables.
People can be so disrespectful, I swear, man.
Yeah, ironically though, my neighbors have been really nice. Everybody in my neighborhood is very nice about it. Like nobody takes their dogs in there. Nobody, even before there was a sign up, there's no fence around it, but people just kind of automatically realize, oh, this is somebody's food. Let me not let my dog shit in this or piss on it. Like, not that I'm not washing my food before I eat it, because that's some Rachel Ray shit. Like, no. No, you ever notice, if you ever watch Rachel Ray, you will notice that she never washes her food before she cooks.
And that's really weird, because you never know what kind of pesticide or what could be on top of anything.
It takes like
a quick rinse can do a lot.
Right out of the package and put it right into the pan, and I'm like, ugh.
She's a whole different breed. I don't know her, but love, I am happy to be here. But I think I'm going to get ready to get my life together.
Perfect. I was about to wrap up anyway. And I thank you for sitting and talking for so long. Like this is dope.
Well, thank you for providing a platform, girl. And I love what you're doing here, man. This is a really cool. I'm learning with you, about this whole virtual world that we're creating and utilizing for our artistry. So this is a whole new thing. I never even heard of StreamYard. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's a great platform. I see the capabilities of what it has. I think it's dope as hell. You have something on the bottom of the screen, like chilling, like crossing the screen every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
That shit
man.
is so fly. I feel like I'm on a live news broadcast.
No,
Breaking
why are we
news.
doing it ourselves? 'Cause, like it just became like I just needed to do something. It's a short story, but I really don't even want to tell that story. But I was in a position where I had to just figure out what to do with the show that I was starting. And I just want to collect stories. That's what Juneteenth inspired in me, is to like, it reminded me that I'm a storyteller and not just my own stories, of other people's stories. So like, just being able to kind of collect, have these conversations with folks. Eventually, maybe Jay-Z will give me a couple $1,000,000 to start this museum.
You never know.
Before you know it, we got like a archival museum where like it'll be like a living history museum where you can, people will get archived. All of these stories will get archived. All of these narratives, these conversations we have, they'll get archived, and people can just like know about who you are. If you have kid in the future, your kid can come and learn about you from you, just like in Watchmen. And we deserve it, because the thing that reminded me with Juneteenth, when they made Juneteenth a federal holiday, it just reminded me of all the stories that were lost in those 2 years that it took to tell us we were free. Right? We don't even know how many more people died from enslavement. Like, as it is, we don't even really have accurate numbers of how many slaves were in America. But on top of that, we don't have records, we don't have names, we don't know who these people. Like, everybody has a story, and I just want to try to. This is what I can do to try to let people humanize us, like hear our stories, and hopefully, we'll be humanized, and we won't get shot in our own beds anymore. Like, I don't know. Fucking Kenosha. I have no idea what's happening all these days. But I want to thank you, Jocelyn, for being so generous with your time and yourself, whether it's in your art or just in the world. You are just an amazing person. And I'm very sure that, like, we will be out here in 20 years. Your name is going to be a name that's definitely remembered. And
that touched me, girl.
Yo, real talk. Like, I got nothing but real talk. So I'm a focus on me for a second.
Okay.
I love you, Jess, so much.
I love you too, girl. Thank you so much. I had a good time here.
We want to thank you, Jocelyn and Jennifer Love, for coming through to the studio today. And as always, like, I thank you if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Periscope, wherever you're at in the world. If you see this, we thank you. Think about becoming a patron of The God Is Arts, because today you can do it for less than 20 cents a day. 20 cents a day. That's only $6 a month. I'm just saying, that's like 2 train rides. That's 2 swipes on the train. If you can spare 2 swipes on the train, you can be a patron for what it costs you to ride the train 2 ways. I'm just saying, go right at the bottom, just click, right at the ticker. You can go to our Patreon. So I'm going to share today's meditation from Acts of Faith, because like I said, I haven't read it. I just kind of been moving all day from the time I woke up. So, as per usual, I'm going to share it with you guys. Stop doing, start being. That's the quote. Stop doing, start being. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to do, the less you actually get done? The reason is that doing requires evaluation and activity on the physical level. The physical part of us is limited by perception and personality. Our perceptions tell us what we can't do, can do, will do, or won't do, and what others will think, do, and say about our doing. Doing is an intellectual exercise. The more we value our intellect, the more we think we must do. The key is to stop doing and start being. We must accept our goodness right where we are and stop thinking of it as something we must wait to get. Whatever it is you want to be is waiting for you. You can be healthy, organized, loved, prosperous, fulfilled, and free without doing anything. It begins with a single thought and a simple statement. I am. That's it. That's the meditation. I am. Like, I am currently transitioning to being a non-smoker. It's really hard, But every day I do keep waking up and making the choice more often than not to not smoke. So now people know I do not smoke. It's that simple. I am healthy. Everything starts with I am. So I am me. You guys keep being you because everyone else is taken. Remember to be patient and kind with yourself and each other. It's still a pandemic outside, so please wash your hands, cover your face. And subscribe to the Patreon because we're having an event this Friday night to launch my new book, Hodgepodge. It's a little kickback session and only the invited will get the address. So thank you for watching, and we will see you on Monday when we have Shibari exhibitions. See you later. The God is out.